Good evening and welcome to tonight's council meeting. As your mayor and presiding officer, my role under the town charter, the town of Dumfries Rules of Procedure, and the Roberts Rules of Order is to ensure that we have an orderly process of business and maintain decorum so that all participants, our council, our staff, and the public can be heard respectfully and fairly. Our decorum, it says all comments must be directed through the mayor, the chair, and the presiding officer of that meeting. No comment should be directed to an individual member, a staff member, or a member of the public. Side conversations, whispering, and crosstalk are not permitted because we ask that all your remarks be audible for the official record. Electronic devices should be silenced. Texting, emailing, or message that are related to public business during the meeting may be subject to FOIA and should be avoided. No one may speak while another person has the floor. Interruptions will be ruled out of order. Council members will be recognized by the mayor before speaking. Council members may speak up to 2 times on any items with a combined total of no more than 10 minutes. Members of the public are allotted 3 minutes to speak during citizen comment or public hearings unless otherwise changed up here by a majority vote of the council. During citizen comment time, council members will not respond directly to those speaking. Response, clarification, or follow-up remarks may be offered later during a designated council comment time. Any member ruled out of order must yield the floor immediately unless the ruling is appealed to the council in accordance with Robert rules. Clapping, yelling, or outbursts are not permitted unless it's celebratory or invited by the presiding officer. Disruptive behavior may result in a removal from the meeting and, if necessary, expulsion for the remainder of the session. Speakers who exceed the allotted time or violate decorum may have their microphone silenced. Council direction to staff is given collectively through the town manager, and political commentary or attempts to draw staff into political matters are not appropriate. Staff are to remain neutral and professional. These rules are designed to protect the rights of all participants to ensure compliance with the law, keep our meetings efficient, respectful, and productive. Thank you for your cooperation. With that, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Fields.
Here.
Councilmember Pete.
Here.
Councilmember Young.
Here.
Councilmember Peterson.
Present.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Present.
Vice Mayor Nickerson. Mayor Wood.
Here.
Thank you.
All right, we will now have our prayer. Madam Clerk, who's? Okay. All right. Okay. We'll have a quick moment of silence. Hey, man, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, please be seated. All right, next on our agenda is the adoption of the agenda. All right.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt the agenda this evening.
Okay. Second. All right, it's been moved and second. All right, any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, is there any discussion? All right, no. All right. Madam Town Manager?
Didn't we have an addition to presentation? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, seeing none, it's been motion and second to adopt the agenda. Madam Clerk, please call the question.
Councilman Fields.
Yes.
Councilman Pete.
Yes.
Councilman Young.
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson. Yes. Mayor Wood.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. First is awards and proclamation. The first is a proclamation recognizing the Villa Motherhood Advocacy Group. Sorry, excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This proclamation is recognizing Villa Motherhood Advocacy Group proclamation, whereas Villa is an all-encompassing motherhood advocacy group and a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to advocating for the rights of mothers and women everywhere, supporting mothers at every stage of motherhood, and giving back to families in need through charitable drives and volunteer efforts. And Villa embraces and exemplifies the belief that it takes a village to raise a child, while further advancing the mission to support and uplift mothers, recognizing that with the birth of every child, a mother is also born anew and deserving of care, support, and advocacy. And Villa works to address the often overlooked needs of mothers, helping to alleviate hardships that can impact entire families by providing meaningful support, resources, and strong network and of care. Villa is now proudly based in the town of Dumfries, extending its reach nationwide through a growing network of more than 10,000 mothers and supporters who generously volunteer their time, resources to strengthen communities, and through its mission to advocate, support, and give back, Villa continues to make a significant and positive impact by empowering mothers and recognizing their essential role in raising future generations. Villa's commitment to building stronger families and communities reflects the spirit of unity and resilience, reminding us all that together we are strong. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Councilman Russell Young, on behalf of Mayor Derek R. Wood, Mayor of the town of Dumfries, Virginia, on behalf of the town council and residents, do hereby recognize and commend Villa Motherhood Advocacy Group for its outstanding service, advocacy, and dedication to supporting mothers and families in the town of Dumfries and beyond. I encourage all residents to join me in celebrating their contributions and thanking them for their continued commitment to strengthening our community. Is anyone from Villa here? They're not here. Okay. Hold on to it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Next on our agenda is a proclamation for Earth Day. And it says, whereas the town of Dumfries recognizes that the health of our environment is directly tied to the health, safety, and the long-term prosperity of the community, and whereas Dumfries is a historic waterfront community whose future depends on the responsible stewardship of its natural resources, including Quantico Creek, surrounding wetlands, and public green spaces. The town has demonstrated its commitment to environmental stewardship through meaningful actions, including the transformation of a former landfill into the Dumfries, Luke and Clarice Torian Overlook Park, as well as ongoing investments in flood mitigation, resiliency planning, and the advancement of a revitalized waterfront vision. Whereas Earth Day has served as a call to action for residents, businesses, institutions to work together to protect and preserve the environment and current future for generations. The town of Dumfries affirms that leadership is not defined by age, but by action, and that young people play a critical role in shaping the future of our community. And the students from Graham Park Middle School, under the leadership of Mrs. Janara Kola Toro, did I get that right? Okay, good. Demonstrated exceptional civic engagement by appearing before the town council to advocate for environmental awareness and action, showing courage, preparation, and commitment to their community. And whereas these students represent a new generation of leaders who are not waiting for change, but they are actively participating in the decisions that shape their future. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Dumfries Town Council that April 22nd shall be recognized as Earth Day in the town of Dumfries, and that the council hereby recognizes the students here of Graham Park Middle School and Mrs. Janera Colado Toro for their leadership in environmental advocacy and civic engagement. The council encourages all the residents to be inspired by their example and to take meaningful action to protect and preserve our environment for generations to come. Signed, my hand, by the seal of Dumfries, April 7th, April 26th, 7th April 2026, signed by order of the council, Mayor Derek R. Wood. You may applause for them and bring on. Sir, come forward and present this. You can bring on your kids. Councilman, come with the jumping. You doing okay?
And we're missing Enrique, who's not here. Okay, come on, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now you on this side.
They like.
Come on, brother. Squeeze all that.
Can you hold this?
Yeah, probably 2 rows behind.
He is in front.
Oh, maybe, I'm sorry, Mayor Wood, can they hold a brochure maybe? Really quick. Really quick.
They came to advocate for real.
Can they do this?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hold it.
okay.
They live.
Hold on, okay. No?
Okay. All right.
Okay, if you can hold it.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
If y'all got some brochures, y'all give it to them.
Okay. Well, good evening. I'll start with a joke for us to enjoy. So why do you think the recycle bin is so optimistic? The recycle bin. Why is so optimistic? Why? Because it has a lot of cans. Can do. No can'ts, but can. So we will talk about why it's important to celebrate Earth Day. Well, it's important because we don't have a plan B. This is what we have, and we need to preserve it for us and for future generations. My students learn about endangered species and threatened species, and they got passionate about this, and they work making a brochure to tell people about the ways we can help animals that are threatened or endangered. That's part of Earth Day celebration. We need to think about these animals. We need to think about our water shortage. Even though that 71% of the Earth is water, there are countries that has a lack of water, and we know that that's part of survival. Air pollution and deforestation, we know about this. Some solutions, back to work. That one is a little hard for some people, but we can consider biking or bicycling or walking to work if it's possible, and turn off the lights when we are not using them. Plant trees. Why is important advocacy for our future generations? As I said, as a teacher, and I have another teacher with me during the night, I want to recognize Ms. Sala Wagner is our language arts teacher, and she's here with us. We know that these students, they learn about their material, they get passionate about it. And they are going to, I was about to say they are going to advocate, but they are advocating right now tonight. So that is very important. That's how we, by educating the future generations, like what we do in schools, that's how they get passionate about things, learning about them. And then they will have a voice in our communities as society to help us moving forward. And I thank you for the opportunity. Earth Day is important for all of us because, as I said, we don't have a plan B.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from the March 3rd and the March 18th meetings.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. Is there any discussion on the minute meetings? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Fields,
Have to sustain, or was it the president of this meeting?
Councilmember Pete,
The same as well, Mr. Mayor. If we could separate those two.
What, one that was in a meeting,
Yeah, the one that just says that,
there was
it
no
just
meeting.
only says who was present. That's the 18th meeting.
Okay, sounds good. So yes.
Councilmember Young,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
That motion's passed.
All right, next is citizen comment times. Madam Clerk?
We have 4 people that signed up to speak, but I believe 3 of them may be for the public hearings, but we'll know when we get to their names. The first person up to speak is Joel Gojela.
That's not Joe.
No, so
Okay.
I should be before Joel on the list
Dr.
to introduce the student. Yeah. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor Wood, Vice Mayor Nickerson, and members of the Town Council. I'm appearing before you today as a neighbor, a director on our Economic Development Authority, and as a professor of finance at George Mason University. I want to thank the council and the residents for the space and the time to highlight how our town is becoming a magnet for regional talent. A few months ago, Joel reached out, a standout senior at Alexandria High School. He reached out to me, and like many investors that we engage with through our town staff, council, planning commissions, and then now the new EDA, Joel developed a fascination with Dumfries. While most students his age focus on prom and gaming, Joel spent his free time tackling the structural gaps in our local community. He didn't just ask for mentorship. He requested a formal dissertation framework, which is something that students who get PhDs do. While most students his age are not engaged, he synthesized complex economic models from Cornell, the Harvard Kennedy School, and UPenn's Wharton School of Business, benchmarking global trends against our Destination Dumfries 2044 plan. Based on this effort, I've been proud to write scholarship recommendations for him to schools that he has applied to, like Howard University, UVA, UPenn, Cornell, and Columbia University. This project proves the magnetic pull of Dumfries, while a top-tier student from Alexandria choosing to invest his time into our town's future. It signals that every investor that Dumfries is where intellectual capital is being cultivated. We are proving that Dumfries is a destination for people to study, invest in, and admire. And that we are no longer a town that people drive through, but a town that people drive through. So without further ado, here's Joel.
Okay. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Wood, Vice Mayor Nicholson, and members of the Town Council. My name is Joe Gojela, and I'm a senior at Alexandria City High School from the Alexandria, Virginia region. And I'm currently going to be a student next year at the University of Virginia, studying data science and finance under the School of Data Science and the McIntyre School of Commerce. And I'm here to share a study on financial literacy and local economical development that was conducted under the mentorship of Dr. Sean A. Spence, Adjunct Professor of George Mason University of Finance. So for our first part about the project, our project followed a formal framework and synthesizes several key studies. So an example of this is from the Terrence Rehan research on the $52 billion of the Virginia Higher Education Institution. Another example of a case study that we found was Mitchell and Laurison's work on the link between financial knowledge and saving behaviors. And our very last example of a key study was Scon and Campbell's analysis of economical development traps. So we use these to develop a methodology to benchmark these global trends against the local data and our Destinations Dumfries 2044 plan. So for our next part is the data collection and analysis. So during our data collection and analysis and analyzing them, we found a structural gap in Dumfries. Our analysis showed that while 90% of our neighbors understood interest rates, nearly half of them, 48% of them, did not save money last year towards their savings accounts. So as highlighted into our housing data, this is often because of 59% of renters are cost burden. So Life experience makes our residents sensitive to inflation, but the lack of financial education creates a ceiling towards more complex strategies like risk evaluations. So for our key findings and recommendations, our key findings is that literacy must be felt with stability. So we recommend the town to do 3 things. The first part is offer target finance courses for service sector workers. Our second part is partner with banks to move residents from cash-based savings to wealth-generating assets. And for our third part is addressing the house saving gap to allow literacy to translate into actual capital. So as a disclaimer, this research is an academical exercise and not substantial enough for immediate policy decisions. However, we suggest future research, including a town-wide survey of all 6,000 residents and study to track the effectiveness of multi-financial workshops and offering courses related towards the fundamentals of finance. Thank you for your time and dedication to the town of Dumfries. Thank you, Joe
Come on, hit
Marcello.
that 3 minutes on the dot. My God. All right, after you graduate, come on back. We got some place for you in the finance department. Madam Clerk, anybody else?
I have 3 people that signed up to speak, but they put CUP. I believe that's Jason, Mr. Bennett Hill, and Mr. Tareem Hill. Are you guys speaking on the electric vehicles? Okay, we haven't got to that portion of the agenda, so you can speak to it.
All right, so we'll move to council comments. All right, we'll start with Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you all that showed up this evening and those that are watching. It's a pleasure to have you guys in attendance. First, I want to say thank you all for this past resurrection celebration and our Easter that we had with Pillar Church. And there was a whole bunch of children out. You know, this is something that we always try to partner with a lot of the not just the churches, other just partnering period around and within our community to help bring in activities and programs for our children and families to enjoy. If you haven't already, do download the Dumfries Citizens Connect app. Go to the 3-bar icon on the top left corner and create an account and follow everything within the notification block that's there. And you'll get all of everything that's there of what we're doing and when we put out here from the town. Also, we had a spring break field fest event that we started actually last year. Was an excellent celebration, game truck, things for the kids to do. Our main mission is to get the kids out of the house for 4 hours. And it's always amazing to see the children do something other than the video game in their room and everything like that. So that was amazing. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we had close to almost 200 children this year. If I'm correct on that, last year was about the same thing. So we definitely love our children within our community, and we encourage everyone to stay tuned and get your children and neighbors involved with what we have going on here in the town of Dumfries. This right next shifting over to the EB Drive side. Town manager, if we could look into an update on the EB Drive side with Prince William County and that stream that's along that road there, and seeing where we at with as far as some improvements on that to see if we can get an easier flow when we having them storms. We haven't hit the heavy storm days yet, and they are to come. But so we can just start looking into a plan to see what we can do to minimize or at least help reduce some of that flooding when the heavy rain days are upon us. Also, town manager, for the safety of our citizens in the houses, one of the gathers that I caught at the conference here just passed is if we could look into some resources and grants or something for fire suppressant safety systems for our citizens and their homeowners, even for our town facilities as well. Is something that we can just look into to see where we at. From what I'm gathering, it's a system that pretty much stops the entire house from catching on fire, and if there's something going on in the kitchen, it can suppress it at that moment. With that, again, thank you all for coming out. I yield, Mr. Mayor.
Councilwoman Peterson.
I don't have anything to it.
Okay. Councilman Fields.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Glad to see so many smiling faces out there, and I like to smile a lot and get people engaged. So I'm glad you're here with smiling faces engaged. Like Councilman Pete said, we had a wonderful weekend this past weekend with all the festivities at the park for Easter, and we got more to come. Springtime is coming. We got cleanup coming, spring cleaning and all that stuff. So, and the next thing you know, it'll be time for the kids to get out of school right before you know it. But we got another couple of months. We don't want to fast forward on that. So thank y'all for participating, and thank you very much.
Councilman Young.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to all of our citizens and those who are in attendance for this evening, again, thank you for coming this evening. Just want to bring some awareness that this is April, which is Autism Acceptance Month, Stress Awareness Month, and Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Just be mindful of your neighbors, reach out to them, and always encourage them to, hey, if you see something, say something. If you feel in some type of way, speak up. It's always open. Please open the door. Please allow them to speak and allow them to share, because you never know that's that hidden cry that no one knows about. That's that voice that everybody wants to reach out for, but they just may be a little bit too shy, too scared to say something or accept, but always have an open door and an open heart for them. Lastly, last month I was honored to actually be a part of the Youth Advisory Committee that we have here in the town of Dumfries. And the youth individuals that we have to come to the meeting are very passionate, and they are seeking that space where they can just be free, be themselves. But at the same time, they have a lot of ideas of what they can bring to the town of Dumfries. So I encourage each and every young person that's out there, please come on out, just enjoy yourself. Give us some ideas, just for us up here as a town council. We don't know it all. We know something, we don't know it all. And it's always says that the young minds can always create better things. So we'd like to hear your voice and see what you have to say. And Mr. Mayor, with that, I thank you.
Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to bring to everyone's attention this April 25th, we will be celebrating the 4th annual Autism Appreciation Day. It's a family fun event. We come out in keeping with our tradition of celebrating inclusive behaviors and fun for the entire family. So looking forward to seeing everyone there. With that, I yield.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. So we are moving into spring. It's getting hot faster than I prefer, but hot nonetheless. So look out for the children who will put their games down and be outside playing. I also want to take a moment to highlight an important event that's happening this coming weekend. It is the 3rd annual career fair. It is a trade and resources fair where we will be highlighting trades and unions, which is a little bit different than your standard career fair, because with this fair we focus on the trades and the careers that do not require you go into college. I am proud to host this as our 3rd annual fair. It is a workforce career fair with the town of Dumfries. We're bringing resources and opportunities that lead to stability, growth, and long-term careers, not just temporary jobs. So if you are looking for maybe a career change, if you know someone who is not necessarily geared toward college, this is an opportunity for them to come out and explore opportunities that do not require going to college. There will be apprentice opportunities. There will be on-site opportunities presented for job offers right then and there. So please tell a friend, bring a friend, come out. It'll be this Saturday here right across the parking lot at the Jeff Simpson Community Center from 9 to 3. So please be sure to bring a friend, come on out and see what resources we have available to help keep everybody empowered and on their feet. With that, I yield. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I start offering my condolences first to the Coral Springs, Florida community. They recently had lost their Vice Mayor, Nancy Metier. She was a a climate mentor to me. She was very resilient. We were together at a climate conference in Brazil last year, and so their community just lost her. So we send out sincere condolences for that loss. It was a tremendous. She was a bright light and a ball of energy. We heard April as a reminder that we know that growth doesn't just happen by accident, but growth continues to happen when people prepare, like these young people, when they plan for it, when they stay engaged enough to help shape it. And so when you think about the town of Dumfries right now, I keep coming back to our vision statement, which says we are a town that has a well-managed government, a thriving downtown, and engaged citizens. And that's not just language, that's our assignment when you see us each and every day. A well-managed government means that we're not reacting, we're prepared. It means structured. It means accountability. It means building the town government that the people can trust. Thriving downtown means we continue to create a place where people want to gather, invest, build, and belong. And engaged citizens means a town that does not become its best because of just us sitting up here on the dais. It becomes the best when the people care enough to show up and to continue to participate in the governing process. And that's why we're encouraged by what we saw here in the dais today and who continues to show up. To see these young people, our young people, the students from Grand Park Middle School and this young man from Alexandria to come up here and to just be able to share, that shows one, courage to get up there and speak in front of a crowd and to stand there and deliver and to stay within a 3-minute time frame. You know, boy, I applaud you for that because most people, adults can't even do that. So thank you for staying on. And the young people who came and advocated, they actually, they showed that they was willing to take ownership. They didn't wait until they were older to use their voice. They understood the power of using their voice right now. And so their leadership around, your students, their leadership around environmental awareness was strong enough that tonight's Earth Day proclamation recognizes their civic engagement and example they're setting. And what that means even more to me was that they did not just show up to speak. They also, for many of you don't know, they invited me into their classroom. They invited me to their classroom to, and I accepted the invitation. Let me say that I accepted the invitation so I could hear directly from them about what matters to them. Because I think local government works best when people know that they don't have to wait for permission to care. And these young people know that they have a voice. I think we've been actively working to put together a youth council for, a few years now. So that really encourages me. When young people learn early that their voices belongs in rooms like this, it helps build a kind of engaged citizens that our future depends on. And so I also just want to say I had the opportunity last month to represent the town at the National League of City University on a panel. One of the things that stood out most is that communities that thrive, they aren't always the biggest cities, right? But they're the ones who are the clearest about their vision and the clearest about their goals and the clearest about what they're going. They know who they are. They know what they're building. They are intentional about how they move. That spoke to me because that's where the town of Dumfries is right now. We're not trying to be busy. We're trying to be deliberate. We're building this community with purpose. And so over the spring break that we just had, I had the chance to also represent Dumfries in spaces where the work happening here is being recognized beyond our borders across the ocean. And so I don't say that for applause, but I say that because it matters that the town of Dumfries is being seen not just regionally anymore, not just nationally, but we're being seen around the globe. And people are seeing the work that we're doing locally, and they're using it as a blueprint for their community. And so when our town has a seat in the right rooms, it creates credibility, it creates relationships, and it creates opportunities that come back home and benefit the people we serve. On April 21st, I've been invited to speak on a climate panel. I don't know if I'm a climate expert now, but I'm speaking on a climate panel in DC on April 21st. And I think we'll put details up on that. And for Dumfries, climate is not a far off conversation that we're having. It's connected to the flooding. Councilman Pete just talked about the flooding a minute ago. It's connected to the infrastructure. It's connected to resiliency. It's connected to our waterfront, our parks, our public spaces, and the kind of town we're preparing for this next generation. So yes, all of these conversations matter. And right here at home, there's a lot happening that the public should stay connected to. Yes, download the Dumfries Citizen Connect app. Stay tuned to our websites, and also look at all our social media pages to see what's going on. Tonight, those of you decide to stay around, we're going to talk about budget. We're going to talk about budget amendments. You're going to see stuff about the historic building, the Williams Ordinary over there. There's a presentation on all the development for these trees you see knocked down. You might want to stay and hear that. You'll hear about what it means for police accreditation, along with, our future development and land use type of things and our capital improvements. So my encouragement to the community is simple as I close. I want you to stay informed. I want you to stay engaged, and I want you to stay invested in this town. This is your town. Stay invested in what's going on, because Dumfries is still building. Dumfries is still growing. We're still finding stronger ways to align vision with action. And the food for thought for tonight is a seed. It don't argue with the ground. It just grows through it. And that's what Dumfries must continue to do. Grow through it. Grow through challenge, grow through change, grow through pressure, grow through expectation. And if you keep planting the right things, vision, discipline, participation, we'll continue to move from being a town that's overlooked to a town that's being unforgettable. Thank you. With that said, next on our agenda tonight, we're going to do reports and presentations. And our first report or introduction is of two new staff members. We're going to ask Mr. Ray Vines to come up and introduce our two newest staff members to the town of Dumfries.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro, council members, town manager, good evening. I have the honor and pleasure of introducing some new family members, some new team members. They are both in the Public Works Department, and I would like them to stand as I call their name. We have our new building official, Miss Regina Sharesta. And we have our maintenance worker too, Mr. Randall Cornish. So we'd like to welcome them to the town. In spite of having one of them pass out because I asked them to come up and actually speak, we'll allow them just to take their seat, but welcome. We have a wonderful council. You'll get to meet them, but we wanted to make sure that you had an opportunity to greet them. Thank you so much for your time.
Madam Town Manager.
Mr. Mayor, if we can take a moment just so we can have our building officials sworn in, I appreciate that.
Yeah, bring them on up. Let's come swear them in right up here up front. Yeah,
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Regina Shrestha,
I, Regina Shrestha,
do solemnly swear
do
solemnly swear or affirm that I will support
I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
and that I will faithfully
and faithfully,
and impartially
impartially
discharge all duties
discharge all my duties
incumbent upon
and come upon
me
me
as the building official
as the building officer
according to the best
according to my best
of my ability.
of my ability.
So help me God.
Help me,
God. So help me God.
help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda as we move forward is a presentation on one of our historic buildings that's owned by Prince William County that used to be a tavern and a pub and all kinds of good place. They host a good event every single year where they give out some type of barbecue. I don't know what it is, but it's barbecue over there. But we're going to yield the floor to you to give a presentation update.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor Wood and members of the Town Council. My name is Rob Orson. I'm with Prince William County's Office of Historic Preservation. We're within the county's Parks and Rec Department. We have been neighbors of yours here within the town for 20 years now. Our offices have been at Williams Ordinary, and love seeing all the great changes that have been going on very recently. So thank you all for being great partners. Let's see, wait for the presentation to come up. We good? Oh, thank you. All right. There we go. Just really quick about our office, just so everyone knows. Our division was created in 2001 by Prince William County Board of Supervisors. We manage 14 historic sites and 27 historic buildings in those 14 historic sites across the entire county. Of course, our best site is here in Dumfries. 9 full-time staff, 2 part-time staff, and we have lots of volunteers to help us manage all these historic properties. Last year alone, we saw 155,000 visitors come through our historic sites, mostly tourists and lots of school children. So we do a lot of school programming, a lot of educational programming with Prince William County schools and schools around the area in Northern Virginia. So really quick, this is Williams Ordinary. Anyone in Dumfries recognizes this building. It's by far the prettiest building in Dumfries. I am a little biased, so I apologize. It was built in 1785 as a historic tavern, as the mayor has said. It's been used as a tavern, as a hotel, and then of course the county bought the building from the Costello family in 2007. It's really important architecturally. It's the only building in Virginia that has an all-header brick bond building. I won't bore everyone with the history of that, but that's the small ends of the brick. The whole front of the building is built of the small ends of the brick, and it's the only building in Virginia that's built like that. So whoever built it spent a lot of money on that building. Just a quick timeline of the Williams Ordinary project. Like I said, it was built in 1785. We purchased it in 2007 from the Costello family. In 2018, we did a tourism and economic development study. Some of you all who've been in Dumfries for a while know when the county purchased this building, the objective was to fix the building up and see if there was a private business that wanted to run a restaurant or a brewery or a winery or distillery out of the building. The problem we had in 2007, for those who know, in 2008, we had the recession hit. And so those plans were kind of put on the shelf. We moved our offices in there, and like I said, in 2007. In 2018, we went back to that idea. We worked with our tourism office and economic development office for the county and looked at different places, different businesses that might want to use the building. The problem we've ran into is it's just too small for any of those kind of restaurant purposes. So we decided in 2019 to create a work group. And this group has been meeting since 2019, took a little break during 2020, obviously. But this group was, and I'll talk about that group in a second, who's on that group. But this group was formed basically to get ideas from the community and our stakeholders about how we should use this building moving forward. The County Board of Supervisors decided in 2022 to start putting the property under DHR easement. DHR is Department of Historic Resources. It's a state office. All of our historic sites across the county are under easement with DHR. This building was not. And so we decided through the board decision to put the building under protective easement. And what that does is it protects the building for the future generations. So this is the people and the groups on our work group. Our county staff, there's members of the town of Dumfries have come to the meetings. Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Bailey, her staff comes to meetings. They have appointed certain citizens from the community to come to the meetings. Historic Dumfries, Historic Prince William, which is a local nonprofit that promotes history in Prince William County. Our Preservation Foundation, Prince William Historical Commission, and other groups like the Daughters of American Revolution, Sons of American Revolution. There's about 25 to 30 people that all kind of were part of this process trying to decide on how we should really use this building to the best effort for the community. So these are the recommendations that we came up with a few years ago. One was to, right now, as I said, it's been used as an office. And we thought that was not a good use for the building, especially with all the different economic development going on here in downtown Dumfries. We thought this building should be part of that redevelopment of the town. So you see here listed the cultural center. So what we're doing is to turn the first floor of this building into a museum space and program space for small events, small exhibits, working with different organizations and different school groups, possibly to do historic exhibits on the first floor. We moved our offices up to the second floor. There's 4 of us upstairs right now, possibly 5 in the future, but we can all fit on the second floor of the building. On the back of Williams Ordinary, there's a modern addition built in the 1950s. We're going to turn that space into a visitor center space. So basically, for tourists coming into the town, for various trails. So if you guys know, we have the Potomac Heritage National Scenic Trail running through Dumfries, the Washington Rochambeau National Historic Trail running through Dumfries, and many other national trails that run through this town. So we'd like to have that building kind of serve as a visitor contact space for other sites and events and programs for visitors can come to and learn more about what's happening in the town. Also outside, we just broke ground on this 2 days ago, will be the Prince William County American Revolutionary War Memorial. I'll have more on that in a few seconds. And then the rest of the space we determined would be a public park green space for the community to use as they see fit. As you all know, there's residential development coming in there along Route 1, Main Street. So this would be a great space for people to be able to use to enjoy the outdoors. So there's some updates and the recommendations that our work group did. As I said, the Cultural Center is turning the first floor into exhibit space. Last year, we completed our Resolves to Revolution exhibit, which covers the county and town's history during the American Revolution, which is this year is the 250th anniversary of the birth of our country. Right now, our curator, Bill, will talk about another exhibit going on the first floor about Batestown, which is a very significant African-American community here in the local area. Our offices are already moved upstairs. We have staff working right now on creating that visitor center space as you walk in the modern addition to the building. That work's going on now. As I mentioned, the Revolutionary War Memorial broke ground on Tuesday, so we're making some good headway. There's a map of the site showing where the memorial is going to be located there on the left-hand side of the drawing. As I said, that work is going on now. What we have in the future plan is you'll see there's a parking lot there. If you're familiar with the area, it's a very small lot today. We are looking in next fiscal year to double the size of the parking lot. So when we do open this building, we'll have enough parking for people to come visit and for our staff. Here's the artist rendition of what the memorial is going to look like. It's a little bit changed. There's a couple retaining walls in the background, but it pretty much will keep to this design. It's very simple. It's very educational. There'll be educational markers going around the entire memorial talking about the different people here in Prince William County that lived through the American Revolution. So it's not just a memorial to the time period, it's also a place to come learn, and we hope to draw school groups to this location as well. And this is just the obelisk that will go there in the center of the Memorial Plaza, which, as you can see in the aerial there, will go to the back side of the property. So you'll be able to see it from the intersection of Colonial Street and Main Street. Yeah, I'm going to turn over to Bill. That was quick.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bill Backus. I am the curator with the Office of Historic Preservation, and I am leading our team of staff and volunteers and community experts on the exhibits in the interior of Williams Ordinary. Last year, for the 250th anniversary for the Prince William Resolves that took place here in Dumfries, we were able to convert one of the downstairs rooms into a permanent exhibit on Prince William County in the American Revolution, focusing on our local history, including multiple voices, officers, enlisted, civilians, loyalists, free, enslaved, white and black. And that is a picture of that permanent exhibit while we had our tavern night. And so one of the aspects for this building is to program it more. Yearly, we have a historic tavern night to reconvert that building to its historic use as a tavern, partnering with a local brewery and local caterer to have libations and food at the building. And so we are continuing to do that. We will have a tavern night later this year, but we are hoping with this transformation to have more programming at historic Williams Ordinary. So the new project that we're working right now is for the larger room in the interior of the building. When we had that initial meeting with stakeholders, there was a desire to have a rotating exhibit space for both history, cultural, and art in this part of Prince William County. And so our first rotating exhibit will be about the African-American community of Batestown, Virginia, working with local community members and also working with the 2019 Oral History Project that was completed. It will be a exhibit mainly on the community of Batestown, using the stories of Batestown from the people from Batestown. Part of that exhibit with traditional exhibit walls will have a image wall in the interior of the building, and we are encouraging visitors to add to it if they have images of Batestown or family members from Batestown to continually add to this exhibit. And part of this will also be included as a traveling exhibit. So the panels on the walls will be reproduced in a traveling exhibit panel so that they can go to other localities in Prince William County in Northern Virginia. And then also this will also be followed on with a digital exhibit with a story map and oral histories going online so that people can explore the history of this community at their own pace, again, using the words of the community members.
And just give us the next steps. And
All right, next steps. The Batestown exhibit will be opening on Juneteenth of this year. We are working with our partners with the Department of Historic Resources to put this building under easement, visitor contact station, and then also with the memorial opening later this summer, looking to expand the parking lot and to really enhance the green space of Prince William County and Dumfries.
all right. Thank you, Council. Any questions, comments? Vice Mayor.
Thank you. So how does this support tourism and economic development here in the town of Dumfries? And what is the town's long-term role with regard to Williams Ordinary?
So as far as economic development goes, working with our tourism office, this will be one of the main attractions that the tourism office will promote between the Marine Corps Museum just down the street, Ripon Lodge up north, and then other locations north of here. So I do think it will play a role in bringing people from outside the town. So really we saw this as project as twofold. One, bringing in tourism people to town. And when those restaurants come, there'll be places for people to eat, but also serve as a local for the local place for the citizens and school children to use as well. So it kind of fills both of those roles, not just economic development, but also a local community space. Working with the town, we worked with Reggie and others here. Hopefully that will continue. We want input. We want to be good partners. We want to be good community members here in the community. I lived here for 15 years myself. I just moved recently, unfortunately. But, Dumfries is a place that we all kind of call home anyways, because it's such a place we spend a lot of time in. And we want to be part of the change that you guys are enacting through town right now. And I think continuing to work with town staff and through you all as well, you guys are always welcome to come visit. The mayor knows us very well. He comes and visits quite often. So we just hope to keep building on that relationship. And we're open to new ideas as well. So if you guys have new ideas, just let us know.
Great, thank you.
Councilman Young.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Quick question for you. You said nearly 155,000 visitors in 2025. How many were actually here in town of Dumfries?
Not many because we weren't open.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would say about 200, but that will change once we get the building open.
Thank you, sir.
How many attend your annual event and then also your walk-in tour?
Right. Thank you, Mayor, for saying that, for asking me that. We do an annual event, as Mr. Backus mentioned, that gets about 150, 200 people. And then we also do walking tours. We partner with Historic Dumfries and we do community walking tours at Dumfries every summer. That gets about 30 to 40 people. Those are mostly local community members, just want to know more about the community history.
And people actually walk through Dumfries. They'll walk all the way down to the ice cream place. They go to the slave cemetery and they walk from Williams Ordinary. So they're actually on foot. Yeah. My question, and I think it ties into the Vice Mayor's questions a little bit, is how do we make sure that this connects to the broader Main Street experience that we're beginning to create so that it becomes part of a living destination and not just a preserve 1785 built building, right? And so living experience, you know, we were excited. I remember in 2018 when it came back and we started talking about how do we turn this back into a pub or something like that. And, you know, I thought the outside area and all of that was great, but, you know, just to see it, office space evolving into the museum now, and everything being preserved, is how does this just continue to move into a living destination?
Well, working with your park staff, we can do some partnership programming there at the site as well, if you guys are interested in that. But we're going to continue, once we get the building completed and the parking completed, we're going to be open 5 days a week. We'll be doing programming and events. So it will not be a static location at all. And so I think there's ways that we can partner with town staff on certain events and programs there, include that in your design here down on the Main Street. We've been in those discussions. We'll continue to be in those discussions, and we welcome that. So I don't think it's going to be a static location at all. And that's going to be a big change, as you know, from what it's been past 18 years.
Thank you, Rob, wait a second, Councilman Pete.
Oh, thank you there, Mr. Mayor. Great presentation, guys. Real quick with me, I just love when people say tourism, right? So I like it. So I didn't catch it, or maybe I missed it. When you guys are looking for your plan as far as tourism go, I did hear you say attracting outside residents and citizens. What is your plan as far as that goes?
So actually, we have a meeting next week with Kevin Costello, Tourism Director, to start talking about how, once these projects are completed, how we implement that into the county's tourism plan. The county is going through, I think, entire tourism mission and strat plan right now. And so we're going to be an active part in that, where we weren't active in that previously because the site wasn't open. So I see us doing bus groups. We've already had several bus companies reach out to us who want to see the building. We couldn't accept them because we weren't open. So I think that's going to lead into more bus groups coming down. Obviously, if there's options here to eat, they're going to stay here. We're going to make them stay here and eat here, which obviously helps the town out as well. But I think some of those ideas will be fleshed out here in the next couple of months once we work on that strategic plan with the county tourism office.
Sounds good. Thank you much.
And come visit anytime. Just let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, next on our agenda is a presentation of the proposed budget amendments for 25-26. And we will bring our budget and finance officer up.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Town Council members. Today, I will be presenting the FY 2025-2026 All Funds Budget Amendment Summary. On tonight's agenda, we will discuss the proposed FY 2025-2026 All Funds Budget Amendment, amended general funds expenditures, amended general government summary, amended grant fund summary, amended stormwater fund summary, and amended capital project funds. The overview of proposed FY 2025-2026 budget amended is, all funds budget amendment. The FY 2026 all funds budget will increase by 2.5 million or 8% compared to the FY 2026 all funds budget amendment. This increase is primarily driven by changes in the town grant funds. General fund expenditure summary, the FY 2025-2026 general fund expenditure increased from 12.17 million adopted to 13.17 million amended, a total increase of 995,917, which is an 8% increase. This increase is entirely driven by transfers and not by changes within the departmental operating budget. General government summary. The total general government budget remains flat at 5.7 million between adopted and amended. This reflects no net increase in overall spending with only a minor internal adjustment. Grant fund summary. The total grant revenues increased significantly from 44,600 adopted to 1.69 million amended. This represents an increase of 1.6 million or approximately 3,700%. The amended budget reflects successful grant awards secured after adoption. Stormwater fund summary. The stormwater revenues decreased slightly by 199 from 199,440 adopted to 192,760 amended. This is a net decrease of 6,680. And finally, the capital project fund summary. The town is strategically using the 2023 bond anticipation note to bridge funding gaps for priority capital projects, approximately $995,917. And the 2023 bond funding is being applied to projects that previously had no identified funding sources. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you for, Councilman Fields.
Yes, great presentation. And I just broke a rule. I whispered to the clerk to ask a question, but who's our grant writer?
Our grant writer is Ayanna Thurston.
Where is she? Is she here?
She's right there.
There she is. Hey, with all these grants, you're doing a great job. I lost count how many we got. It's well over a dozen, I think. But for those who don't know, to get a grant and to apply for it is one thing. To be granted it is another. So we thank you. So keep up the good work.
So I guess my question is, all these grants were just funded this year, but I'd like to see some of them crossing over for multiple years. So we're just allocating them all just in this budget cycle because it's time to expend it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what. Yes. All right, let's just make sure. All right, well, thank you. Well done. Looking forward. I'm excited that we're spending that means infrastructure is getting taken care of and projects are moving forward. So we're excited about that and that partnership. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Now for the, let me check on, do y'all need a stretch break or y'all good? Should we move on? Y'all ready for this? Just looking. Everybody's good? Okay. All right, we'll look at this presentation on the RS on Main Street, the development that's being built, and we'll ask for the presentation. Who's doing the presentation? All right, the floor is yours if you come on over to this. All right, the floor is yours.
Well, I want to thank Honorable Mayor of Dumfries, the Vice Mayor Nickerson, the members of the council, the town manager, members of the staff at Dumfries. We've been hard at work on this project since last year, and very excited to be here presenting an update. So my name's Ben Lazarus. I work for Vista Residential Partners. I'll give a little background on the community, but I grew up in the Mid-Atlantic and very excited to be here and to see all the good things that are happening in this town and be a part of what we hope to see as a lot of continued progress. So just very briefly, this is one I'm going to try to flip through pretty quickly. But it's basically just a quick project update and a little bit of background on what we're planning, who we are, et cetera, and then we'll take questions. So this is the team. We are the developer. This is a few highlights from our team of consultants that are helping us build this project. So this is a little tiny bit of background, a slide on my company, Vista Residential Partners. We're based in Atlanta. We've been around for 25 years. We've been expanding significantly across the country, and now we have 12 projects under construction. We build residential housing in all of our projects. Just going to flip through a couple of projects that I've personally completed and the company's completed locally and in a few other markets. This is a project I built. It's a residential project in the Fredericksburg market. This is another one in the Falls Church portion of Fairfax County, Virginia. Here's a project in Alexandria, Virginia, completed about 7 years ago. This one is a project my firm is under construction right now on in the Raleigh, North Carolina area. This one is in Atlanta. So this is a 3-story apartment project. And here is a townhouse project that we're working on in pre-construction in the Charlotte, North Carolina market. One last project, which is in downtown Washington, D.C., which was completed a few years ago. Very excited to be part of the Dumfries community. We see and hear about a lot of interesting and positive updates. Was great to hear about what's going on at the Williams Ordinary. They're going to be across the street from us. So just as a quick, site contacts map, big updates. Of course, the casino opened in late 2024, and we've heard positive things from the management there about what's going on. Very excited to see the town has purchased the property across Richmond Highway and is planning the Park District. That'll be very exciting to see that come about. So again, just happy to be a part of the process and progress here. Heard about the Revolutionary War Memorial. Also excited to see the consolidation of US 1 on the backside of our property, and excited to see some of the developments in the planned Main Street District. There's the Eris on Main site. For those who've been in Dumfries for a while, this project has been on, in planning for many, many years. And in my career in real estate, I've brought a number of these projects off the boards and into fruition, and I'm very excited to be working on this one. We have a plan that we really believe works, and we're moving forward as we speak. This is the approved site plan. So just this was approved actually early last year, and our goal will be to build this building just as you see here. Few high-level, pieces of information on our project. So 274 units. It's a mix of one large 5-story apartment building and then 4-story townhouses. It will feature both indoor and outdoor amenities that are typical for high quality apartment buildings, outdoor amenities including a pool and grilling stations, and then indoor amenities which would include like a fitness center and club room and co-working spaces. A couple other benefits we've heard about actually in the presentations this evening. We're going to have modern below ground stormwater management facilities, and we're going to preserve meaningful several acres of existing RPA, resource protection area. So just quick updates. So we're taking this over, and lots of work has been done by the landowner. Our next steps here, the update this evening, and we have commenced architectural design. So we have a team of consultants who are working together to develop drawings that will be submitted for permit and then built. We will also make a submission for the architectural certificate that it's required in the town. So this is the renderings that the landowner presented in 2023 when the proffer condition amendment was adopted. And we reviewed these, and we are looking to use some of the ideas here. And so this is another shot of their 2023 renderings. These are just inspirational precedent photos. We love being neighbors with Williams Ordinary. Very exciting that it's across the street. Sorry. Our goal is to architecturally, build on the classical architecture of Williams Ordinary and the Wilmsbott Museum, which we think are both very attractive. So this is what we have right now. We've worked hard on this for about 6 months developing our concept, and it'll be a mix of brick, matching the Williams Ordinary. We will not be able to do the extraordinary effort it took to put the brick in. What he was trying to explain is the brick is lengthwise instead of standard flat. It's probably, at least 75% or 100% more brick in the way the Williams Ordinary was built than we would typically build something out of brick, which is very, very cool. In addition to the brick, we'll do a mix of cementitious panel and siding. It will look very much like a high quality apartment building, in line with some of the other apartment buildings that we have built over the years. This is another rendering. You can see the townhouses here. So it's 5-story towns, and 5-story apartment building and 4-story townhouse. I know actually reviewed the rezoning hearing, the Proper Commission Amendment hearing, and I heard that balconies were a big and important thing, and they are to me as well. We really care about outdoor space. We know our residents care about outdoor space, so we will be building multiple types of balconies on the building, as well as decks as well. These are just some project precedents for the interior amenities. So look at these inspirational. So you can see the interior amenities and the unit finishes. They'll be different here, but somewhat similar. This is another project as well. Here, the landscape architect put together some of these images. So we'll have very cool outdoor amenities, which are typical of residential apartment projects. So that is my presentation. Very excited to be here and excited to take any questions that you all have.
Ben, can you just go back 2 slides? Just give us clarity, because I think you kind of stumbled. So you're saying, are these the amenities we're going to see, or
this is inspirational? So yes, there'll be a pool.
And the word inspirational, that's what.
These are renderings of different projects, so it's not going to look exactly like that. It's a great question.
Okay.
So that it'll have a fitness center that will look very similar to that, but the finishes aren't exactly going to be the same. Each project's different. That courtyard is definitely inspirational. We're looking at some of the pool courtyard there. The finishes in the apartment, it'll be similar. There'll definitely be stainless steel appliances, and the club room will look a little bit different, but that's a cool looking club room. So I think that's this is from the project in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So I do think that's a good project to look at, to see.
Councilman Fields.
Let's go back to the balconies. I was the one that's very outspoken on that. So one picture appeared to have them that you could visually see, and another one that sort of like disappeared. So you said multiple types of balconies. So what are we looking at?
So actually, you can see in this precedent picture, there are different types of balconies that you can see in this photo. Some balconies are inset. Those actually are really often pretty generous. So if you look at the photo in the middle, it's like red brick. So what inset means is like you have the exterior facade and then it sits back inside. So it's really all under one roof. And then we'll also have, like, if you look at the one next to the red brick one in the middle, that one shows like exterior balconies. That's a typical exterior balcony. We will have those as well. The goal is to have a really meaningful percentage of apartments have their own outdoor space. We'll also have some patios as well, but not that many. It's not that easy to.
So more or less the patios will be on the ground floor.
Ground floor, yeah, that's right.
And different types up there. All right.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, as long as we got them some kind of way. Also, the townhomes, are these apartment townhomes, or someone have to purchase this townhome?
So it's a good question. The final decision has not been officially made there, but our company is a residential, developer, and we've done projects in a variety of different ways. The apartments will be rental, no question.
Okay, but the townhomes is up in the air, whether it be for sale or managed by the property.
That's right.
Okay.
Either way, when you say managed, would be managed by a class of institutional property manager.
Okay. So I guess I should say, will it be sold, bought, or leased?
That's what's up in the air. That's a good question.
Okay. All right.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I have a few questions. Thank you for the information. Pleasure meeting you. So I I will start with piggybacking on Councilman Fields. So I was going to ask whether or not there will be all rentals or if there will be ownership options. And I hear you saying haven't been decided yet. So because that is something that's still under consideration, what I'll do is offer my opinion, and I advocate for ownership options. I feel like when we provide ownership options in the neighborhoods, it helps with values, it helps with upkeep and those sorts of things. People take care of things differently when they own it. So if ownership options is something under consideration, please know that you have my support for ownership options to mix in with the rental opportunities. I am a strong advocate for blending those options together. So that's that. I also want to know whether or not you can see there's no street parking here. So I want to know, I didn't see parking here. So will there be surface parking or will there be a garage?
So the project was approved. I'm just going back to the site plan. So yes, it's a great question. Parking is very important for suburban projects, for all projects. And so it will be built very much along the lines of the site plan. Between the site plan and the final development, you go through design. So we are, understand your question. It'll be surface parking. Each townhome will have a driveway and garage space. And so overall, we believe the parking will be more than sufficient for the project.
So the answer to my question is there will only be surface parking?
There'll be surface parking for the apartments, and then there for the townhomes, there's one garage space for every townhome and a driveway space for every townhome.
Okay, so when I said garage, I meant will there be like a garage building? I'm sure that if there's a townhome there.
Yeah, no, so there will not be a structured park garage on the project.
Okay, excuse me for not being clearer with my question.
No, you were clear. I didn't answer it. That was a good question.
Okay, great. So then my last question is with regard to your project, what are your key milestones for accountability to make sure we're staying on track and keeping this thing moving? Because I've been on council, I'm in my 8th year on council, and this project has been talked about ever since I walked through the door. So I'm looking for milestones for accountability. How do we keep this going and make sure that we are making progress toward an end result and we can see that there's progress happening over here?
Yeah, Vice Mayor Nickerson, that's a great question. We are currently, working very, very hard to hit an aggressive schedule so that we can break ground later this year. I believe it. Our company has been really aggressive in getting projects moving all across the country, and so right now, extremely confident that will be the case. What are the milestones? So right now, almost all of the required approvals have actually already been attained. So you have site plan, you have a number of wetlands permits. The last steps, actually, there aren't a huge number of public submissions that our team will make. The major one is we'll make a submission for the architectural certificate. We are already in the process of starting the third-party review process for our architectural design drawings, and so we'll go through that process. We brought the reviewer on very early so that we can, speed that process up. The goal is to have them review the drawings at every single stage and efficiently, and we required pretty strict timelines with the reviewer so that we can meet the timeline and get the building permits where we need. The great thing about where the project stands is that overall there are a number of essentially administrative steps that we have to take to get the land disturbance permit. And we achieved a big milestone last week in cutting down the trees. That was very helpful. That helped keep us on schedule, honestly, and want to thank the town staff, the town manager. I know it wasn't easy to work through on an accelerated timeline. I really appreciate it. And I think I'd say to the community overall, they should be very proud of the effort that the town staff and the members of the council. It's a team effort to get projects like this moving, and everybody's been very responsive and taking my phone calls and helped us understand the process in Dumfries. I can't tell you how many meetings, frankly, I've had throughout the call it probably about 8 months. We've been working on the project with different members of the staff and different experts and their regimes, and we really appreciate all the support we've had.
Well, thank you. And I will say that it is great progress to see those trees down, because that is a signal to the community that things are moving. So it is good to see that. So thank you for your partnership, and thank you to the staff for keeping things moving.
Councilman Pete.
Thank you there, Mr. Mayor. Okay, great presentation. I just wanted to touch a couple little points here real quick. First, piggybacking off of what Vice Mayor was saying, this ties into one of my questions. I'm going to add this action in two-part. First, how many units in the apartment buildings are we looking at? That's a question that the community is asked. Several citizens, how many apartments, how many townhouses? And we're getting all kind of answers. So can you clear that for me, please?
Yes, Councilman Pete. There are 220 apartments in the 5-story building, and there will be 54 townhouses. You can't actually quite see it, but each townhouse is either back-to-back or two stacked townhouse flats in the 27 berths you can see on the 27 lots on the site plan.
Okay, so that takes me to this question, back to the Vice Mayor's question in this parking space, right? Mm-hmm. So how many parking spaces do you guys have allocated for the apartments at 220 units?
It's a great question. The project was approved with 314 spaces for the apartments, 7 guest spaces, and then 108 spaces for the townhouses. And our goal is to meet or exceed those numbers.
What was that number for the townhouse again, please?
108. So there are 54 towns, and each town has 1 garage space and 1 driveway space.
One garage space and also 1 garage space and 1 driveway space.
Yeah.
Is there so when I go to other other neighborhoods around this area here, right, there's always a visitors parking for the townhouses as well. Do you guys incorporate that into this plan as well?
Yeah, there will be visitor spacing. There'll be visitors and leasing spacing. Yes.
That's for the townhouses, correct?
It will be
for the townhouses okay.
Yeah,
sounds
for the
good. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure we're not parking all over the place here, along as what the Vice Mayor was saying. Now, in your previous plans some time ago, you all had visuals of having parking on the main drag of Main Street. Are you with the parking meters that was talked about? Are you guys still there? That was not a talk of mine. I'm just piggybacking on what you guys were saying.
We haven't planned on that. It's a good question. I mean, I've looked through the Main Street, visuals that have been put together by the town. I do, at some point in the future, it'll be developed into what looks to be like a 2-lane road with surface parking on each side. And, I think that'll be great. I look forward to that vision as well. We're not counting on that. We don't know what the timeline is for that, but it'll be exciting to see that occur. And so I think at that point, when that occurs, there would be some, parallel park surface spaces in front of the project on Main Street, but we're not counting on that.
All right, sounds good. My last two, then I'm moving. The pool that you guys have there, is that public or private?
It's private.
Thank you. In your event space that you have there, is that a clubhouse per se, or can that be rented for events?
So the amenities will be for residents of the community. So if you're a resident, yes, you'll be able to rent certain spaces within the amenities. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much with that presentation. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor, and I yield.
Councilman Young.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. Mr. Mayor, thank you. Quick question. You said it was 300 or so parking spaces, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And it's 200 some odd units, which means the majority of those are going to be 1-bedroom units.
It'll be a mix of 1-bedrooms and 2-bedroom apartments, yeah.
Okay. And the second part into is that I was looking at some of your diagrams, and as you were saying, I like to be inspired as well. A few of them had residential spaces at the bottom. Is there a reason why this one wasn't considered as having retail spaces at the bottom?
That's a great question. Well, we really were, focused on moving the approved plan forward. So we came into this later on. I think I definitely have completed mixed-use projects in my career. It's very hard to do right now, as everyone knows. I mean, we've heard talked about in the recent governor's race, and we all know housing supply is really difficult. It's really, really hard to build new housing projects. Unfortunately, all across the country, and certainly in the Mid-Atlantic and in Northern Virginia, and so retail adds a different challenge at times. When you do it, you have to do it really, really well. While we're not approved to bring commercial at this time, I do think once we deliver and you see the new residents living in the building, my expectation is it'll help the town, or help, frankly, private investors come and make new investments, build new retail. As you hear some of the exciting plans that Williams Ordinary has, looking at the casino, looking at what we're doing, I do see that in the future. And with a total of 274 units, you're probably going to have in excess of 400 residents here. Those folks are going to need to go shopping. They're going to want to go to restaurants. They're going to want to go to retail. And so I think that it'll help support more commercial activity.
So with that being said, what you're saying to me now is that with the addition of those residents potentially moving in, that they will want to see some retail. So is the building you're planning right now, is it going to have the space for the retail, or are you telling me that this is going to be something that will attract businesses for them to go somewhere else, not in that?
Somewhere else, yeah. We in the approved plan does not include commercial space. I tried to address that. As I was trying to say, it's difficult to do mixed use, and right now the capital market's just very, very difficult. Quite honestly, you see projects like this one that have a lot of merit stalled all across the region, all across the country for a variety of different reasons. Inflation, costs have just spiked since 2022, 2023, and it's very difficult. So things like mixed use make it even more difficult to do new projects. We didn't even really look at it because it wasn't a part of what was approved. Our goal, since we first looked at this, was to bring to fruition what had last been approved by the council, which was the 100% residential project.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, sir.
So just want to give some context. You are the third developer to come in since 2013. This isn't the original developer that we approved the project on. So since I've been here and since 2012, he's the third developer. The first developer submitted 2 or 3 different projects that never moved forward because he never got financing. He lost the property to foreclosure. The second developer came in, picked it up on foreclosure, began to develop the property, get it there. These are approved plans. You have come in as a new developer over the last year, and you're presenting us an update to say you are ready to move this project forward this year. So essentially, you're just presenting to us what we've already approved, and you've taken it over. And so you're showing us, hey, I'm the new developer, and I'm about to do this.
Yes.
Okay?
That's correct.
I just wanted to give some context to what we're seeing here. So everything here is just you just saying, as a courtesy, here's where I am in this project. Okay, thank you. So we approve the site plan, we approve the property. You're waiting to move the dirt, and you said, what other permits you said? No, the trees are cut down.
Land disturbance.
We haven't seen, this is the first time we've seen the trees cut down. If you've only had it for 1 year?
For less than a year.
Less than a year. So that just says something about you, that you got some deep pockets and you're able to make this project. I'm just teasing.
Not me.
You're investors, right? To be able to make it happen. Just all jokes, tongue in cheek. But, just the fact that you've got it this far and that this community is know that you're committed by the fact that you've already done more progress than we've seen the past 2 developers that had on this property. So, I've been here for all the developers, and I've seen everybody who's come in. I've seen every plan that was presented. And by far, this is probably one of the better projects that was there. Even, this building and the other two buildings were slated to have all the buildings that look like this one and the one that's now the Wawa and the one across, they were all slated to have commercial development. And he just went under because he could not get any retail in any of his buildings, and he foreclosed and he lost all the buildings.
Yeah. Actually, I'm familiar with the earlier renditions, not all of them, of the plan, and frankly have tracked it for a while. What was originally approved many, many years ago just totally not viable. The costs of what they were doing just did not make sense. And unfortunately, this is 5, 6, 7 years ago, frankly, from having looked at it then. I think the project's in a great place. What we're presenting is just updates. This is what it's going to look like when we build it. A lot like this. It's not exactly like this. These aren't not construction documents, but it's going to look a lot like what we're showing tonight. We haven't, we're not ready to show renderings of what our amenities will look like. We're still developing those, but we're in that process. We're making progress on that process, and it's moving as quickly as we can move it and get it done right. So.
Okay. Town manager, did you have?
My question was rather quick. Did I hear, you said 314 spaces for apartments, 108 for townhouses, and did you say 7 guest spaces for
That's right.
everyone else?
Yeah, 7 overall, yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Fields.
I hope we can add some more guest spaces. We should be able to.
We're trying to do what we can to improve the number of parking spaces. Is hard. There's a lot of things that come out in design that are difficult. So I agree with you. I'd love to always see that it's important to get as much parking as you can. You build it once, and once it's there, you can't add parking. So
Also, the big scary question is, will this be HOA?
HOA. There's actually a requirement to do an HOA for the project, which we are going to do. When you say that's a requirement of the approval, so there will be one. Councilman, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by scary. HOA.
Some people just don't like HOA communities, and some people do. So at least I know.
Yeah, I think probably people that have lived with them have had good stories and bad. So it's a requirement.
Okay with it, personally.
Yeah.
But that's the question that will come up.
I think it's important for the town, for the community to understand, as we build the project and once it's up and running and the residents and this leasing, we're going to have a high quality Class A manager, with people on the property and, every day in the office. And, so that's important to us as a developer and as an owner. I know it's important to the community to know that the folks that build and operate it, we take pride in our projects. It's important to have high quality team managing the property, and that's how we will execute, and that's how we will operate and own it.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for the update. Thank you for taking on this approved project that somebody already signed off on the plan, and you just come to execute it. And that's what we want to see, execution. So thank you. We appreciate it. With that said, we will take a 10-minute stretch break, and we will come back. All right, next on our agenda. Welcome back. Everybody is stretched out, healthy eating. We are going to have a presentation of our proposed FY 26-27 budget from our acting, is that right? Huh? Intern, not acting, intern, financial. Yeah, that word. Ms. Crystal, come on up and give us this presentation. Whatever they said, that's what you was.
Council members, today I will be presenting the FY 2026-2027 proposed budgeting and financial outlook for the town of Dumfries. Our theme this year is building on results, optimizing for Dumfries' future. Today we will go through the town organizational overview, spotlight on recent town results, proposed FY 2026-2027 budget, proposed revenue budget, proposed expense budget, proposed special funds budget, and the position summary. Here's a display of the town organizational overview with the residents at the top, mayor and vice mayor and council members, town attorney and town manager appointed by the town council. The deputy town manager reports to the town manager, and direct reports for the deputy town manager is developmental services, operations, community affairs, and direct reports to town manager is administration, town clerk, and public safety. Recent accomplishments: Distinguished Budget Award. FY 2025 audit was timely and no material weaknesses, and we received a AA- with stable outlook and a AA3 bond rating. FY 2026-2027 proposed budget, building on results. This year, we will invest in Dumfries infrastructure with $2.9 million, pay down debt of $1.8 million, and put money back in the community of $357K. Tax rate decrease in FY 2026-2027 proposed budget. There is a negative 3% reduction in proposed municipal tax rate. Tax rate went from 0.1899 to 0.1850. Stability in FY 2026-2027 proposed budget. There is a $0 increase in the proposed municipal fees. Structurally balanced budget, and we're building the budget on financial discipline. Strategic brand investment. Let me highlight a few key areas. We will strengthen Dumfries' brand and identity across the region, position Dumfries competitively for the future growth and opportunities. What does this budget deliver to the residents? Responsible debt reduction and financial stability, support park, recreation, and community programming, and strengthens transparency with the residents. Where do your tax dollars go? 19% in public safety, 11% in public works, 1% in community program, 5% in parks and recreation, 43% in general government, and 17% in capital investments. FY 2026-2027 all funds budget. The FY 2026-2027 budget reflects a continued upward trend in the general fund balance, reflecting growth, providing resources to meet the town's objective. That's $18.9 million in total all funds budget, $16.9 million in total general fund budget, and 23% increase from FY 2027 general fund growth over 2026. Proposed FY 2026 and 2027 general fund revenue. There's $13.8 million in other local taxes, which includes the gaming taxes, $1.5 in general property taxes, and $850K. Here's a breakdown of our general property taxes, a total of the general property taxes of $1.5 million. Impact on economic development and state legislation. We have additional meal tax and revenue, additional gaming tax revenue, additional lodging and transient tax, and additional business license tax. Other local taxes, here's a breakdown of the other local taxes. It increased by 6%, which compares to the 2020-26 amended budget. General fund revenue, permit and fees and license is $160K, fines and forfeitures is $310K. Revenue from use of money/property is $675K. General funds revenue continues. The total general fund revenue is projected to increase by 39% in the FY 2027 when compared to the FY 2026 amended budget. Okay, our summary of the FY 2026-2027 proposed operating expenses. We have $5.5 million in general government, $3.1 million in public safety, and $1.9 million in public works. Here is a breakdown of each department expenditures. Just to let you know, each department across the board had an increase in the healthcare benefits due to the increase in healthcare insurance rates. Town council had a change of $337,581, which is 75% change. Town attorney had a $3,079 change, which is a 1% change in budget. Okay, town manager had a $407,473 change, which is a 21% change in budget, and town clerk had $11,794, which is a 3% change in budget. Treasury department had $41,684, which is a 6% change in budget, and the finance department had $8,597, which is a 1% change in budget. Public safety had $159,903, which is a 5% change in budget. Parks, Recs, and civic engagement had a negative $56,480, which is a negative 6% change in budget. And public works had $402,079, which is a 26% change in budget. Economic plan and development had a change of $47,615, which is a 9% change in budget, and boards of commission remained flat. Our debt had a change of $528,600, which is a 39% change, and the transfers had a $2.9 million change, which is a 100% change because we didn't have any transfers last year. Agreement and donations and grants is a change of $25,000, which is 47% in change. I'm sorry, here's the slide. Okay, we will go over our FY 2026-2027 proposed additional funds. Our grant funds had a negative $210,224 change, which is a negative 12% change in the grant funds. Stormwater remained flat, as well as streets remained flat. Okay, here is the town full-time equivalent. There was one position added to the town manager's budget for public information officer. The town clerk department didn't have any changes. Town attorney didn't have any changes. The finance department didn't have any changes. The public works department didn't have any changes. The Department of Planning and Community Development didn't have any changes, as well as the Department of Recreation/Civic Engagement. And public safety didn't have any changes. There's a total of 57 employees. 53 of them are full-time and 4 of them are part-time. In closing, here are some key takeaways from the FY 2026-2027 budget. The total general fund budget increased by $4.7 million, or compared to 39% from the FY 2025-2026. Proposed budget reduced the tax rate from 0.1899 to 0.1850. The general fund is largely due to additional gaming taxes revenue receiving. And this additional gaming tax revenue will be allocated to support capital projects through the town's capital improvement fund. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Councilman Peak.
I just want to say, great job on you guys' presentation. That was well executed. Well executed for your first time up here giving it to us. Stacy, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Crystal, you did a fantastic job in presenting that. Town manager and staff, great job. Ayana, great job, guys.
Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, I want to echo Councilman Peace. Great job. You did a great job executing. You did a great job with the presentation, and then not only that, the detail oriented. I've been looking at your work and really did justice. And Stacy will be proud. Just throw that out there. So I do have one question. This might be more for the town manager. Talking about stormwater, as I look through the budget today, I know that historically we have received a grant that funded stormwater management. Are we still in receipt of that grant, or is that something that we are funding?
So I'm gonna let Ms. Campbell answer that question.
Okay.
Okay, so the stormwater, we do have a litter grant, but that doesn't equate to the stormwater revenue that we received. We received the fees from the town residents, citizens.
Okay.
How stormwater is funded.
Okay, thank you. And I'm just thinking, like, and looking to the future, some of the issues that we've had concerning stormwater and some of the flooding issues that we've had, we may, in future budgets, need to revisit those positions. We might need to add more to it to make sure that we're equipped to provide service to our citizens.
Yes, ma'am. There is a second component of the budget that will be presented at the next council meeting that deals with human capital, and the stormwater manager will be one of the positions part of that discussion, ma'am.
Okay, excellent. And I just have one more. All right. So when we talked about boards and commissions, it remained flat, but we did add the EDA. So was the EDA considered?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. There's still $8,000 allocated to the EDA for their stipends.
Okay, all righty, thank you.
You're welcome.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions and a comment. So Crystal, great job.
Thank you.
And I don't throw out great job often, but I am throwing it at you because this is your first time being up there and you stood in it with poise. And so congratulations on that. I know it's not easy to get up in front of this particular crowd because we can be a little harsh at times. So you did great.
Thank you.
With regard to the content you presented, so in looking at this, first where we were on page 6 and we talked about the building results in FY26, putting money back in the community, that's great. And I think it's great for the community to hear that we are exercising fiscal responsibility in a way that we can quantify the amount of dollars that we're investing back into the community. So can we talk briefly, and this may be a question for the town manager, what exactly does that look like? What outcomes should residents expect to see in the upcoming year when we talk about putting money back into the community?
So being that we worked so hard at preparing, I'm gonna let Ms. Campbell answer that question, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Campbell.
Okay, so we will improve transparency and public engagement with the residents and stakeholders. Also support economic development and investment attractions, improve public information delivery, as well as invest in the stormwater mitigation and critical infrastructures.
Great. It's nice to see what that looks like from a tangible perspective. The other question that I have with regard to the tax rate, the 3% reduction, the budget decreases the tax rate by 3%. That's also great news because that too is something tangible that the residents can actually hold their hands out to receive. How are we going to sustain a lower tax rate long term? Because for me, that's always been a concern. I love the narrative of lowering a tax rate, but when I think about it, I'm not a finance person, I'm an HR person, but when I think about lowering the tax rate, the one concern that always pops into my head is the sustainability of it, because we rely on taxes for our governance and our sustainability. So how are we going to sustain that long term?
Ma'am, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask our treasurer to come up to answer that question.
As long as it gets answered.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hi. To reply to the question, once as a reassessment is taking place, the part of the calculation is to produce a lower what is called the lower tax rate and/or the equalized tax rate. Essentially, what you're doing is lowering the tax rate to produce the same amount of revenue that you did the year before. In other words, the reassessment's not causing increased income to the community. So just because the rate is lowered, you're essentially still generating the same revenue. So your long-term picture is still just is the same as it was the year before, realizing then you're in control in the future. If you choose to generate additional revenue, you can always increase the tax rate. You're allowed to always lower it, of course. In this case, it is lowered to produce the same amount of revenue that you received the year before. So it is just a stability factor.
Okay. And that's interesting because I know that since I've been on this council, we've maintained a flat tax rate. And so now that we're coming in and we're lowering it, what I'm thinking about is the fact that for me, lowering the tax rate sounds like a good idea, but I don't know whether or not that's something that I'll actually see in my bill because my tax bill has increased because the value of my home has increased. So does that mean I may not actually see a decrease in my bill, even though the tax rate is essentially lowered?
The answer to that is that is correct. It is possible that your bill overall could go up. It is possible that it could go down as well. Generally, the rate is calculated on a whole for the entire town. So if the town rate is a little over 3%, if your property assessed at 7% higher, then, of course, that would generate a tax increase for you. It would just be 7% minus the 3 since we lowered the tax rate to help offset. So the lowering the tax rate is really just offsetting the 3% increase that the town's experiencing. But you cannot, on an individual basis, each property appreciates and adjusts individually, and that is handled by Prince William County based on their sales information. So it is impossible to generate a zero tax increase for everyone because you would have to adjust individual rates. So we're allowed to do it for the town as a whole.
Right. Thank you. I think it's important to talk about that and say that out loud because when people hear we're lowering the tax rate, a lot of people assume then their bill is going to go down. So I think it was important that we talked about that out loud so that people do understand that doesn't necessarily mean your bill is going to go down because the tax rate itself is what's lowering. But if the value of your home is steadily increasing, then your bill is not necessarily what's lowering. And it's important that people understand.
That's correct. The assessment is the assessment, and it is unchanging, and it is what is based on sales data, which then corresponds to help cost of, it does other factors of dealing with education and other funding mechanisms. The rate of what you can adjust is the rate to produce the same revenue. That's what you have control over is the rate, not the assessment.
Right. Well, it is still very beneficial for us as a town to lower the rate, even though the impact is different for different people. So we are still doing our part as a town with exercising our fiscal responsibility, putting it back into the community. So we are still doing our part. It's just the impact just hits all of us differently. So thank you for explaining that. So moving on to my next question. You mentioned the $8,000 that's allocated to the EDA when Pro Tem asked about that funding and that allocation for the boards and commissions remaining flat. That money was allocated per meeting per board member. So in the event that there isn't a full board, how does that work? Is that money still allocated to the board itself, or is that money adjusted based on the amount of board members or the amount of meetings that are held?
So the allocation is $50 per board member per meeting. There was no additional instruction for us to do anything different with the funds. So if we don't have a full board, the additional funds goes back to the town's fund balance as with everything else we do.
Okay, so the resolution language was specific to the amount of members and the amount of meetings. It was not just a solid number allocated to the board itself.
Yes, I believe if I recall correctly, it was $50 per board member for not to exceed 2 meetings per month. Ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I yield. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Phillips.
All the questions that were pretty much asked beforehand by Vice Mayor and Chair Pro Tem. Thank you for great presentations. I get great comfort in the explanations and how they are delivered, Mr. Miller and Crystal. Thank you so much. Your explanation of Vice Mayor's question was spot on. And I'm not a finance person, and I understood everything. But thank you so much. Great presentation and great answering the questions.
Thank you, Crystal, Mr. Miller. I do get excited about the numbers. And I had a good time sitting down with this equalization rate and definitely playing with it and plugging the numbers and seeing how all the numbers work. The question I want to ask goes with the grants, because today we just amended the budget, right? And so we amended the budget for the current year to talk about the grant. So in this presentation that you put up, what I didn't see is I didn't see any state and federal grants. And we know that we just got federal congressional direct spending. Is that for this current fiscal year or the one that we're planning for now? So I'm just trying to understand because I saw those numbers in your presentation.
I believe that's this year, correct, Anna? Yes, it's in FY 2026 budget.
So we just reallocated it? Yeah, this one, because I want to make sure those numbers are accounted for. So I'll wait a second. That's the check we got in the lobby when everybody walked in. They saw that big check outside.
So, Mayor Wood, it looks as if that might have been overlooked.
Yeah.
So what we can do is look at the appropriation to ensure that the grant funds have been moved over. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
So it's supposed to go into the one
The new
that we
fiscal
just.
year.
Okay, the
Yes,
new
sir.
fiscal year. Also, I guess we're waiting on the governor to sign it, but we also have a statewide grant that's coming for Quantico Creek. And so I don't know if we're projecting it or we're going to wait till the governor sign or we're going to try to forecast it now.
So what we will not put that in the budget. It will have to be an amendment until we have it approved with approved signatures on it. So that's similar to a lot of the grants that y'all just appropriated in the budget amendment. We didn't have approvals and things until we got everything in place. Once we got the approvals and when we wanted y'all to do the amendment to allocate
So
the funds.
this will potentially go up when we add the congressional direct spend and the money we're getting from the state. Okay. Those were the two things that stood out to me on that. In regards to the equalization rate, the vice mayor brought up a great point as far as everything being flat since 2014. We've had a flat tax rate. Why an equalization rate now?
When the community does an assessment, then you are required to go through the process that documents what is the lower rate to produce the same amount of revenue. If we had left the tax rate the same or higher, or you had adjusted it, then you would declare that that's a tax increase. And you would then just simply document that, have a public, conduct it as a public hearing as part of your process, and then move forward. So in this case, the rate is the equalized rate is offsetting your reassessment.
Okay. And I think it's important to note over the last 7 years that the last 7 years that our assessments have increased. Our assessments over 7 years have doubled, right? Our property assessments, I think in 2018, they were probably valued at closer to $500,000, and now we're probably assessing over $1 billion in property assessment. when we went to our bond rating, we kind of bragged about we were at 108% appreciation value, which was double the county and I think double the Commonwealth of Virginia. And so when you have higher assessed real estate properties and you keep the same tax rate, it's like going to the grocery store and you're paying more for the same groceries. And so I think this was a good exercise. I'm glad that everybody got to hear it. We do appreciate your presentations, and seeing no more questions, we will move on. Vice Mayor.
I just want to acknowledge Ms. Campbell and Mr. Miller.
She's married, Mrs.
Mrs., because I kept hearing Crystal and Mr. Miller, so I want to respectfully refer to you as Mrs. Campbell. Thank you for your presentation, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
All right, next on our agenda is an update for the accreditation of the Town of Dumfries Police Department.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and Town Council. We're going to give you an update on the accreditation process for the Police Department. I know some of you guys have met Bud Delaney, not officially, but I do want to introduce him, let him introduce him in front of you guys. And I just, a real quick story, when he came in for the interview, I think we had about 10 questions that we asked Bud, but I think he answered all 10 questions with the first question of his experience with accreditation. He's been helping Prince William with their accreditation process for quite some time before he left there. And like I said, his wealth of knowledge for the accreditation process, he's been in Prince William. Some impressive things about him is his knowledge of the accreditation process, as well as his love for the town of Dumfries, from working in Dumfries from when he was with Prince William. And saying that, I'll let him introduce himself. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Council, members of management, and the kind folks from the community. This program here, accreditation, is probably as important not only to the council, to the police department, but also for the community members. I'm not very good talking about myself. I appreciated the chief sharing my love for the town of Dumfries. I spent a good portion of my career patrolling the Dumfries area, responding to calls for service, working alongside the Dumfries officers, helping residents, helping business owners with calls for service. And I actually started my law enforcement career as a ranger at Prince William Forest Park back in early 1980s. Lived in the park, did my shopping, my banking and so forth here in the town. And then later on, I lived just north of the town. So I've got a great fondness for the historic town of Dumfries. My experience with Prince William County Police Department included time spent in patrol, criminal investigations, and also in the chief's office working on administrative matters. A good deal of that was serving as our accreditation manager. I took the department through two successful reaccreditation processes. A little bit of additional experience with accreditation. I served on the Virginia Law Enforcement Accreditation Coalition, which is the primary support group for agencies seeking accredited status, and provided training on how to write policies, how to develop written directive systems. I also, if you don't mind me sharing with you, I have served as an elected official in the town in Louisa, also as an appointed official, and also quite a bit of volunteer experience in local government and also with nonprofits. So a little bit about my background. I'd like to ask a favor. I grew up in a family with 9 brothers and sisters, so I learned pretty early on I had to speak quickly if I wanted my words to be heard. So if I move too quickly through here, either have the chief put a radar unit on me, slow me down, or else let me know that I'm talking too quickly. Just an overview of the Virginia Law Enforcement Professional Standards Commission. So that's the primary accrediting organization here in the Commonwealth. If you're familiar with law enforcement accreditation, there's also what they call the national program. It's the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. agencies. That's a program that actually started the process for having law enforcement agencies become accredited. Prince William County is accredited through CALEA, the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, and that started probably back in the I guess the first agency that was accredited was in 1982. In the mid-1990s, the Department of Criminal Justice Services for Virginia teamed up with the Virginia Sheriff's Association and the Virginia Chiefs of Police to develop this accreditation program that we subscribe to now. Since the 1990s, they've accredited about 114 agencies. So there's a little over 400 law enforcement agencies in the Commonwealth. About 25% of them have achieved accredited status. We're one of 26 that are working towards accreditation, towards the accredited status. Again, it's quite an accomplishment to achieve. It takes an awful lot of work, but it shows a true commitment by the council, by the town management, and by the community in having its police department achieve that professional status. I'm going to read very quickly. This is a mission from VLEPSI, which is the Virginia Law Enforcement Accreditation Program. It's to advance law enforcement professionalism. I think that really captures most of it. You can see below if you'd like to read the goals of the program, but truly advancing law enforcement professionalism is what the program's all about. There's a number of steps that agencies have to take to become accredited. You've already done the initial part, which was signing an agreement with the commission back in March of 2025. The accreditation manager was hired in September of 2025. We're now in the middle of what they call the self-assessment phase. I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but the self-assessment phase is where the chief, myself, and members of staff compare the accreditation standards with what the department's policies, written directives are. If the written directives don't meet the requirements for the standards, we're responsible for revising those policies. After that, you have to make sure departmental practices are consistent with the policies. So you have these professional practices that mesh with the policies. And then to become accredited after our self-assessment phase, we invite either mock assessors, which is not required, but it's a good idea, or an actual team of certified assessors appointed by VLEPSI to come in, and they visit the town. They review what we call proofs of compliance. So for the 193 accreditation standards, any of those that are applicable to the police department, we have to prepare an individual file which shows a primary proof, which might be a written directive, and then supporting proofs which are intended to show that the practices of the department are consistent with the policies. And once you achieve a successful on-site assessment, the report is forwarded to the commission staff. They forward it to the entire commission, and then there's 4 hearings a year in which agencies are given the opportunity to be heard by the commission for whether they're going to be accredited or re-accredited, or maybe not. The benefits to the town, and there's a bunch of benefits to accreditation. Again, more than anything, promoting professionalism. When we talk about that, we talk to professionalism as both internally and externally. It's for the officers and supervisors, administrative staff, knowing that they meet these professional standards. Again, there's only 25% of the agencies in Virginia that have achieved that status yet. It's good for the community, it's good for the council, it's good for senior town management, again, knowing that the agency's practices are consistent with what they consider to be state-of-the-art here in the Commonwealth. Another true benefit is in working with so many other law enforcement agencies and organizations in the criminal justice realm, they also have greater confidence knowing the police department has met these professional standards. I listed number 2 here is reflects true transparency. And that's achieved, it's a voluntary process. Agencies aren't forced to participate in accreditation. They have to decide, hey, we're going to go ahead and open ourselves up to this scrutiny. We're going to compare our policies with the standards. We're going to elevate our practices, and then we're going to provide these proofs of compliance to show this is what we're doing. And I think that kind of transparency is important to the community at large. Maybe probably something the chief and I have talked a great deal about is the accreditation requires the department to continuously evaluate its practices with any new standards, with any best practices that may be applicable to the agency. And so again, accreditation, sometimes agencies let their policies kind of sit on a bookcase somewhere. You can't do that with accreditation. It's got to be an active process by management, by the officers in the field to prove that they're worthy of accreditation. So our accreditation activities to date, very quickly here, and I'm kind of running through my time here. The formal agreement with the commission, again, March of 25. I was hired in September. We've attended an annual conference. We attend monthly online meetings with the LEPC staff and also have attended quarterly meetings. And right now we're involved in that very lengthy, very exhaustive ongoing comparison of accreditation standards with the department's written directives. Very quickly, this is an example of a very simple standard right here. It's something you would be familiar with having been sworn into office yourself, but it's just a policy requires all personnel to take an oath of office. That's a pretty easy one to comply with. The second one here is something that kind of shows a greater emphasis on progressive policing. It's all about prohibiting bias-based policing. Not only are you required to have a definition in the policy, but you also require all officers to receive initial training when they're hired and also ongoing training, which should occur every year. And then also any complaints about bias-based policing will be thoroughly investigated by the police department. This one, I'm not going to read through it. This is one of the more difficult standards. It deals with property and evidence management. You can see that there's a standard statement in the very top balloon, and then there's 4 bullets, and the agency has to comply with all 4 of those bullets in addition to the primary standard. In addition to that, some standards have what they call a purpose and intent statement. And if you look, you'll see bullet A, bullet B, bullet C, and bullet D. Those explain how the agency complies with each one of those bullets.
Give us where we are right now, the self-assessment. Where are we at right now?
The self-assessment, we've determined that we're in compliance readily with 23 standards. We're probably going to take the better part of the rest of the year here to continue to review our standards or the policies with the standards. The chief, the town manager, wisely elected to allow the police department to use a program called Power DMS, which not a lot of agencies have access to, but it allows you to provide, upload your policies so that they can be distributed to all departmental personnel online. They have to acknowledge receipt of the policies. They have access to the policies out in the field with that. But then also we can build our proofs of compliance through that Power DMS program. So when it comes time for the agency to be accredited, it's not a bunch of paper folders they're dealing with. It's actually 21st century digital files. If I had to guess again, the self-assessment phase is very, very difficult, but hopefully we'll work through most of it here by the end of the year.
All right, Councilman Young.
So, quick question. According to this, it says there's 193 standards. How many of them actually apply to our department? Like you say we only completed about 23.
That's part of the self-assessment phase. There's probably, I can say offhand, maybe 15 or 20 that deal with the communications function, which Prince William County provides. There's a number of standards that deal with courtroom security. Those aren't going to be applicable to the agency, but there's a few that are kind of borderline. They're called if standards. So I've talked about it with the chief. If the police department has a career development program, there's certain requirements we'd have to meet with that, but that's a decision the chief would make, I guess, with human resources and the town manager and council ultimately, depending on how you'd want to build that program.
Okay, I was just trying to get a gauge of exactly where it was, because I see you said 23 were completed.
Yes, sir.
We've met 23, so I just want to see exactly.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and like I said, there'll be some that just aren't applicable due to function. But let me share with you, you might have noticed in part of it, out of the 193 standards, over 110 of those standards include multiple bullets.
Right, 500.
Each one of those bullets, yeah, actually, I checked with the commission before we came, 574 additional bullet points. So that, when you carry that to just 193 standards, it really increases the topics that the department may have to cover.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great job, Chief. All right, Councilman Fields.
All right, this is my lane, 100%. I don't know if we worked together when I was on the town police department. I
I think I'd retired, but I knew in 2010, 2011 when you were here. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I came on in 2006. So saying that, back then in 09, 2010, the department was attempting to go through accreditation at the time. And then, things happened and it fell by the wayside. And as Councilman Young had already mentioned or asked you about, the number of objectives that have to be met. And with that, bullet points up under each. The question has also been asked, where are we now? So we got where are we now? How are we looking now with the ones that we've already met? Were they met pretty quickly? Or did they need some work to even get those 23 that we do have?
When I looked, thank you. When I looked at them, those are just readily on the face apparent that the department, like taking the oath of office, as you did, not only on council, but as a police officer, pretty apparent. That's required by state code. Those are kind of the simpler ones. I mean, I could look through it as I read through the standards, but when we start looking at the more lengthy ones, like the one I listed for property and evidence, and as you remember, being an officer, chain of custody issues, properly securing valuable evidence beyond just things that come about in normal cases, but whether it's money, jewelry, drugs, guns, accreditation addresses all that. And so it's not just having a written policy, it may require additional investment in the police department's property room to make sure that there's additional security for those items. So again, it's not just identifying the standards that, hey, sure, simple, we can meet those. It's then making sure there's written directives that officers follow out in the field, whether it's dealing with domestic violence, whether it's dealing with, as we talked earlier, bias-based policing, pursuits, high-risk critical task policies involving mental health type issues. So again, it's very easy to say, hey, we can comply with the simple standards. A lot more difficult to deal with the ones that have multiple bullets and deal truly with high-risk critical task type incidents.
And of course, we're dispatching, we use a lot of county resources. So how much does the county play into helping our accreditation as well?
If you don't mind me digressing, I again, having worked alongside the Dumfries officers for years, and then being aware of what occurred back in 2010, 2011, the police department here, under the interim chiefs at the time, made an agreement with the county to attend the county police academy. Also utilizing the county police property and evidence room function. Well, that changed. So it was really probably a great benefit to the town police department that they could utilize those functions. That's changed now. Obviously, the Rappahannock Regional Academy is a great police training facility. The police department has a wonderful relationship, I guess, with the academy director and their colleagues in law enforcement that attend there. But since the department's not using the county police property evidence room, now that we have to kind of go and examine it for ourselves, they are accredited through CALEA, which probably exceeds the standards that VALEPSI requires when it comes to property and evidence. What we'll do is, as we determine compliance, we'll upload our proofs into that digital file I was talking about with Power DMS. So technically, if we wanted to kind of play hardball, are we actually in compliance with any standards? Well, we haven't prepared the files yet, but I think on the face of it, easily saying 23. And as we continue to go through the policies, I'm sure there's many more that are going to just pop right up and go, yeah, they're going to be looking at us right in the face. We're already pretty much doing what the standards require. We have to make sure the practices in the field reflect that. And then we have to prepare proofs of compliance because, it's not a rubber stamp, as you know, operation. If you don't mind me sharing, Agencies, there was an agency recently, I won't mention it by name, that was accredited by Vallepsi in 2009. They'd been reaccredited numerous times, and just recently they decided to voluntarily withdraw from the program because they no longer felt that they were doing what they needed to do to maintain their accredited status. That's a heck of a thing that you've been accredited since 2009, and then you give up your accreditation status. Now, there's no doubt in my mind a year from now they're going to reapply and they'll be credited again, but it's not a rubber stamp type thing. It takes a lot of work.
Gotcha. So going forward, last one I want to say, going forward, for everybody else that's interested, we're still looking at about maybe a couple of years of this, correct?
I would think so. When the opportunity came to apply, then I had to think about it because I'd been retired for quite a while. But I have a great fondness for the town of Dumfries. A little bit of background, of course, in policing and accreditation. I thought I could help. But one of the things that I was happy to see is that in the town manager's updates, I can never pronounce, they didn't use this term when I was in public service, KPIs. Okay, we had goals and objectives, other things. Anyhow, when I read in their presentation, it's achieve accredited status, I guess, in fiscal year 29. That's doable. There's no doubt about that. I would hope, again, that by the time we get finished with most of our self-assessment here, it's going to require us to be rewriting some policies, and then the policies have to be distributed. In some cases, new policies the officers have to be trained on them. We have to show proof of compliance with all of that. So again, I would say within a couple of years, we're probably on track for that. But again, when it comes to these more complicated standards with bullets, may or may not be easy for us, especially if it requires any kind of infrastructure improvements like the property evidence room or other things. So,
cool.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I actually have a question regarding some of the standards of training.
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
that you have some training on cultural diversity on initial and ongoing. Do you have anything dealing with neurodivergent people?
I'm sorry, with,
Neurodivergent?
I can't, I don't hear as well.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Neurodivergent people with autism or any other developmental disabilities that function?
Yeah, there are a number of standards that touch upon that. As a matter of fact, we were talking earlier at supper tonight about some of the local facilities that have residents, folks that have some difficulties. And so accreditation in, like, let's say use of force, just for the use of force policy, it requires officers to be trained in the use of force policy every year. And a part of that, there's a strong suggestion from Vallepsi. It's not a requirement, but it's actually in the current policy where it suggests that that use of force policy is extended to include addressing issues with other folks, such as maybe elderly folks who may have developmental difficulties and so forth. So throughout the standards, there are places where it talks about making sure that we address those kind of needs.
Okay. If there was something, and I understand that this is a part of the other general orders, would we be able to insert something that dealt specifically with that community and the standard? Would that affect the accreditation?
I would suppose, Chief, did you want to answer that?
So the accreditation part is just what they require us to do, so we can always go above and beyond, and it wouldn't take us backwards, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So you don't pass, you're not going to get accredited because you're doing something above and beyond what's asked of you.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that. Thank you, Chief.
And if I can, briefly, as a town manager, with her permission here, one of the things that I did identify when we work as accreditation manager, it's not just a matter of reading the accreditation program manual and then taking a look at the policies. You kind of take a look at the enabling legislation for the police department. You take a look at the town code, or whatever jurisdiction you may be doing the work for. But something that's interesting to me, and I remember seeing it back in 2010, 2011, there's a requirement that the town council approves the general orders issued by the police department. You may be aware of that. It's under Town Code Section 34-21, and it basically says that once the chief, in consultation with the town manager, prepares general orders, they're then submitted to the town council for approval. And when any such general order so prepared have been approved by the council, such general order shall be in full force and effect. Those probably mechanisms or protocols, obviously the town manager, the council, and the chief can work with you on that. But it might, be an opportunity to address additional things, like the chief said, we can go above and beyond. In particular, if there's any community needs that you're aware of that maybe we should be touching on as well.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, my question was really just to make sure that we weren't going to conflict with the accreditation, but I get the ordinance and general orders. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
All right, thank you for the update. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the extra time, too.
All right. Next on our agenda is the consent agenda. A couple questions. Town manager? Okay, on this consent agenda? Very well. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Mayor Wood, if you could we have the ordinance in regards to the FY 26-27 budget pulled off for action item?
Okay.
We could.
You want to pull off? Which letter is that?
Item I.
Item I. Okay, we will move that to letter D.
Just scheduling, we're scheduling the public. That's fine? Oh, never, I'm sorry, Mayor Wood. She said, she just clarified for me, it's not necessary.
Oh, because you're just doing it.
Scheduling the public hearing.
All right. And everything was good with the capital improvement plan in F?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in the budget presentation, they said one new position and you got J2. You just want to explain to the public before we take this one vote? Why you got it says two new positions in there. So, and she said one in her presentation.
Actually, we have a transition currently where we have a CFO. In our classification plan, we did not approve a finance director position. So I want to have the ability to hire either a chief financial officer or a finance director. So it will not be an additional position to the budget. It'll be a decision that I make if it's going to be the executive level or a lower level position. So I just want to have the flexibility to decide if it's going to be a finance director or a CFO.
And so with the approval of the consent agenda, we will approve all items A through J to include those titles. Okay? Got it. And is that a funding change or the funding stays the same for based on executive or non-executive?
The funding will stay the same until I make the decision as to which level we'll hire for.
Because you're looking down. Got it.
Yes, sir.
All right. With that said, the consent agenda is before you, council. Any other questions or motions? Councilman Pete. Chair Pro Tem.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Mayor.
All right, it's been motioned and second. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? All right, seeing none. Madam Clerk, call for the question. You ain't done that in a while, huh?
Councilman Field,
Yes.
Councilman Pete,
Yes.
Councilman Young,
Yes.
Councilwoman Peterson. Yes. Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nickerson. Mayor Wood.
So yes.
That motion passes. Thank you.
All right. Everybody in the back, wake up. It's action item time. It's time for the public hearing. Part y'all been waiting for. Yep, you can clap for that. That means you're going home soon. All right, first, yeah, come on. You said you clap for that, right? All right, the first action item, first public hearing is an approval of a resolution. And it will, approving the submission of an application for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, Community Development Block Grant funding through Prince William County to fund the construction of a splash pad. Mr. Tabor, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and members of council. A splash pad is an at-grade or ground level recreational water feature that is on a concrete pad, and in our case, it would be a 2,000 square foot concrete pad. It would include various interactive spray nozzles and fountains for use by all ages and abilities. A splash pad was included in the adopted fiscal year 2026 budget under the capital improvement plan. Quotes were obtained for the construction of the splash pad, and staff submitted an application for funding for the splash pad through the Prince William County administered U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Community Block Grant Program, or CDBG. The town has an agreement with Prince William County to administer the town's participation in the U.S. HUD funding program. Per the grant program, the funding request is for a repayable loan with a 30-year deferral that will be forgiven as long as the park is still being used for its intended purpose at the end of that period. Also, the project would enhance access to public facilities and ADA accessibility, also a requirement of the funding program. The construction cost included in the grant application is not to exceed $350,000. Additionally, funding would have to be added to the town's operational budget for utility and maintenance costs of approximately $40,000 annually. The operational costs would include water and wastewater treatment and site security as well. In addition, funding would also have to be added to the town's personnel budget to account for additional part-time staffing estimated to total $20,000 annually. The total annual cost would be projected to be $60,000, and a $5,000 to $10,000 contingency would increase the annual cost to between $65,000 and $70,000. Adoption of a resolution by the town council authorizing submission of an application for CDBG funding is required, and its draft resolution is included in your packet. I'm happy to respond to any questions.
All right, well, I'm going to make this motion so we can have discussion. A motion, we approve the resolution being submitted. Yeah, because we scheduled a public hearing.
We have to open the public hearing.
Oh, yeah, we have to open it first. Okay, any, I removed that, I withdraw that. You're right, thank you, as you were. Any other questions, discussion? Madam Clerk?
Just for clarification, it's not a public hearing, it's just an action item.
Oh.
Okay, Chair Pro Tem,
I know. It got you too.
you told me.
Yeah,
All right,
my bad.
I'm putting my motion back on, right? Approval of the resolution, approving the submission of the application, funding through Prince William County for consideration of the splash pad.
Second.
Now discussion. Madam Vice Mayor.
Thank you. So originally, I was on board with this, and I appreciate the staff's effort to secure the funding to enhance the recreational amenity for our residents, but I have concerns about having us move forward with the splash pad at this time, because given the community center concept that we have approved, it moves forward with the pool component. I believe it's important that we take a moment to think strategically about the comprehensive approach to recreational investments and moving forward with both, which would be the pool in the community center and the splash pad, could result in an overlapping of amenities and spending, and it may not be the most efficient use of resources. So for that reason, I would support removing the splash pad from consideration at this time and revisiting our recreational priorities in alignment with the Board of Community Center plan to ensure that we are making the most impactful and fiscally responsible decision for our residents. And instead of the splash pad, which was our original idea, now that we have the pool coming, we focus our finances and efforts on the pool. So with that said, I do not support moving forward with this resolution.
Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to piggyback off what the Vice Mayor was saying. Initially, we were on support for the splash pad. It was due to the fact that our children were enduring a lot of hot weather days during our summer months, and I personally was taking water across the street to give them water. But now we have our water fountain there. We're actually moving, y'all. We're moving and doing improvements on the park, and we're in a good direction here. We have our water fountain that's there. Our restroom is there. We have water there as well. But with the upgrading of the recreational center that'll be there, we included installation of a pool. And my take of the pool is that we make sure that it's usable to all. You know, if that makes sense, if that all of our citizens can come there and enjoy the leisure, our children, our adults, our seniors, our autistic family, that it serves the purpose for everyone. That was the reason for us putting in the splash pad, so we can get some water on our families. But we're moving in a different direction, and I believe this is a better direction for the town of Dumfries. And I would like to thank council for that support. So with that as well, I don't support moving forward with the splash pad, being the fact that we are including a pool. With that, I yield, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Yep, my discussion is just in line with what everybody said. Our concept A, concept B, none of them have a splash pad. No need to move forward with this grant application, so I will be voting it down. And so seeing no more discussion, the motion on the floor is to approve it. A yes vote means you want to move forward. A no vote means that you don't want to move forward. Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Fields,
No.
Councilmember Pete,
No.
Councilmember Young,
No.
Councilmember Peterson. No. Chair Pro Tem Miles.
Nay.
Vice Mayor Nickerson. No. Mayor Wood.
No.
That motion does.
All right, next on the agenda is a public hearing on an ordinance repealing Chapter 26, Article 4, Section 26-99 through 26-129, erosion sediment control of the town of Dumfries, the code of the town of Dumfries, servability and effective date. Madam Town Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Madam Pro Tem, members of council. We've got two ordinances scheduled for public hearing tonight. The one that the mayor just mentioned deals with the first ordinance, and because the two ordinances work together, I'm going to prepared my remarks to deal with them at the same time.
Okay.
So the changes that are being proposed tonight through these two ordinances are necessary to bring the town code into compliance with state law. State law now requires localities to consolidate their erosion and sediment control regulations with their stormwater management regulations. So the first ordinance repeals what has formerly been our ordinance that keeps the erosion and sediment control regulations separately housed. And that is the purpose of it, to eliminate that particular impediment to compliance. The second ordinance, which we will address in a few minutes, will reorganize this erosion and sediment control regulations into integrated with the stormwater regulations that are now separately housed. So because both of these ordinances are required to bring us in compliance with state law, I am recommending adoption, but the first is to repeal Chapter 26, Article 4, Sections 26-99 through 26-129. That concludes my prepared remarks. I'm happy to answer questions on the repeal.
Okay, council, any questions with our town attorney on the repeal? Okay, seeing no questions, Madam Attorney? Is it for you? Okay, you ready for me to open the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, very well. Madam Clerk, anyone signed up for the public hearing?
No, sir.
All right. Seeing no one here to speak to that public hearing, I will now close this public hearing. Public hearing is now closed. Councilman Pete? No? Oh, okay, you went to read, okay. Very well. Chair Pro Tem?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to approve the ordinance repealing Chapter 26, Article 9, Section 26 through 99 through 26 to 129 of the town code.
A second.
Okay, it's been motioned and second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Fields,
Yes.
Councilmember Pete,
Yes.
Councilmember Young,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson. Chair Pro Tem Miles. Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
That motion passed.
Madam Town Attorney?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Madam Pro Tem. The second ordinance reorganizes, renames, and amends the Chapter 26, Article 5, Sections 26-130 through 26-169 to now incorporate the erosion and sediment control regulations with the storm regulations. This ordinance also provides for updates that are required also by the state law. Again, because these ordinances are bringing our code into compliance, I recommend the adoption of the second ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, any questions on the recommendations, staff report? All right, seeing none, we will now open up that public hearing. Madam Clerk, anyone signed up to speak at the public hearing?
No, sir.
Okay, seeing none present, we will now close that public hearing. Public hearing is now closed. Okay. All right. Chair Pro Tem?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance relating to the reorganization of erosion and stormwater regulations, recodifying Chapter 26, Article 10, Divisions 1 through 3, Sections 26 to 130 through 26 to 169, as Chapter 26, Article 9, Divisions 1 through 3, Sections 26 through 130, amending Division 3, and renaming Article 9 to Erosion and Stormwater Management Program of the Code of the Town of Dumfries.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to second that motion.
Okay, it's been motioned and it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing there is no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Fields,
Yes.
Councilmember Pete,
Yes.
Councilmember Young,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson. Chair Pro Tem Miles. Vice Mayor Nickerson.
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
That motion's passed.
Next, we got a public hearing on the consideration of an application to amend the town code to allow electrical vehicle sales in the B1 General Business District with an approved conditional use permit. Mr. Tabor, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Can we bring up the presentation? Okay, while we're waiting, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and members of council, the town of Dumfries there we go, okay. The town of Dumfries received a petition to amend the town code, Division 6, Business General District B1, to add auto sales of electric vehicles as an allowed use in the B1 district with conditions and a CUP or conditional use permit. The B1 district is illustrated in the map on the right, and it is the town's zoning map, and the area in red generally along Fraley Boulevard and Dumfries Road to Route 234 includes the B1 district. During a regular meeting held in 2013, following a recommendation by the Planning Commission and a public hearing, the Town Council adopted Ordinance O 2013-009. The ordinance amended the Town Code, Chapter 70, General Business District B1 Use Regulations, finding zoning text amendments to be consistent with the town's comprehensive plan, good zoning practices, public necessity, and in the best interest and general welfare of the town of Dumfries. Among many other changes, the zoning text amendment removed item 2, which was automobile and truck sales and service establishments subject to securing a conditional use permit with conditions. Automobile uses are currently permitted in the FB01 district. Staff conducted an inventory of auto sales businesses and compiled a list of 14 businesses. However, 2 share the same address, 1 is permanently closed, and 4 are no longer on public right-of-way and are located along Route 1 in the right-of-way, which will be included in the Route 1 widening project. Of the remaining businesses, 2 are located on parcels that are at least 1.5 acres and have a structure at least 6,000 square feet that can potentially serve as a showroom and indoor maintenance facility. So this is a list of those businesses, and item 1 and item 5 are the 2 existing businesses that are located on properties of 1.5 acres and have a structure that is at least 6,000 square feet. And item 11 is owned by the applicant for the zoning text amendment. And this map illustrates the location of those businesses clearly along Fraley Boulevard, which, as previously shown, is the B1 district. The petition for the zoning text amendment includes the following: a proposal to amend Division 6 Business General District B1, Section 70-247B, uses allowable pursuant to a conditional use permit, to add number 5, automobile uses, automobile and truck sales establishments meeting the following conditions, and the condition being electric automobile and truck sales, lot size shall not be less than 1.5 acres. And recommendations presented to the Planning Commission include adding automobile sales lot sizes that shall not exceed shall not be less than 1.5 acres. All automobiles sold shall be electric vehicles. Businesses must have a structure that may serve as a showroom. All automobiles shall be placed in a marked parking space conforming to Section 70-13. Site plans for new establishments or tenant layouts for alteration of existing establishments shall contain a certain certified parking plan, a vehicle delivery statement, a landscaping plan, and a lot parking circulation table. Site plans shall conform to Article 3, Division 11 of the chapter, and tenant layouts shall be drawn to scale. Another condition, automobile maintenance and service must be within an enclosed structure. And finally, conditional use permits will expire in 5 years from the date of approval and may be renewed if approved by Town Council. During the March 9th, 2026 meeting of the Planning Commission, the Commission voted on a motion to recommend approval of the proposed code amendment in accordance with the attached Exhibit A, but said vote failed on a tie 3-3. A failed vote to recommend approval does not constitute implicit or otherwise a vote to recommend denial, resulting in the Planning Commission reporting out without a recommendation regarding the petition. Staff recommends that the Town Council adopts the attached ordinance and approves the proposed amendments to the Town Code to allow electric vehicle sales uses with the stated conditions and a conditional use permit. The applicant is here, and I think he has some additional information to share with council.
Okay. That's good, because Councilman Fields likes to see the applicants to be in the building. That's the applicant. The floor is yours.
Good evening. They put a presentation on? Yes. Okay, great. Honorable Mayor Wood, Honorable Vice Mayor Nickerson, respected members of the Town Council, good evening. And thank you for the opportunity to present our proposal this evening. Tonight, we're asking you for your support with respect to a project that we believe aligns closely with the town of Dumfries' vision for revitalization, improved aesthetics, and economic growth. Our proposal is to transform a longstanding automotive parcel into a boutique luxury electric vehicle showroom. The showroom is designed to elevate the appearance and economic contribution of the property. And we believe our objective is very well aligned with the transformative vision in the town of Dumfries' new chapter. It is consistent with the spirit and intent of the strategic plan and comprehensive plan and its vision elements. Namely, by enhancing the visual appeal of the property through immediate beautification, by boosting economic growth through consumer, visitor, and other business attractions of the town, while increasing the tax base and increasing the revenue for the town. And finally, by promoting and supporting the town's clean energy initiatives and attracting consumers to utilize electric vehicle charging infrastructure and businesses. As you all may very well know, this property has historically supported automotive uses. Over the years, it's housed a Dodge dealership, heavy equipment rental operations, and most recently, several different automotive collision repair facilities. While the site continues to function, it no longer reflects the level of quality or visual appeal that the town is working towards as Dumfries continues to evolve. At the present time, the property exhibits conditions such as inoperable and damaged vehicles, large metal refuse containers, tires and debris that detract from the corridor's appearance and create an unattractive view for residents, business owners, visitors, and potential investors. The images you see here illustrate the current condition of the property, including outdoor storage, aging structures, and limited landscaping. This is exactly the type of property where revitalization can make a real difference. Our concept involves immediate revitalization of the site, which allows us to make meaningful improvements to the property. Those improvements would include modern facade upgrades, professional landscaping, a cleaner and a more cohesive parking lot, removal of cluttered outdoor storage and inoperable vehicles, a visually appealing commercial presence along the corridor. And in short, the property would transition from an aging automotive facility into something that reflects the direction Dumfries is heading. Rather than continuing with the status quo, we're proposing something different. Our vision is to establish a boutique ultra-luxury electric vehicle showroom, a refined retail concept that presents vehicles in a high-end, modern environment. Here's the parking diagram our engineers put together for us, as I previously referenced. And we are excited at the proposition to establish this EV showroom since market data and growth projections for this product indicate a potential of up to 600% growth over the next 5 to 10 years, demonstrating a strong and rapidly expanding market opportunity. This projected trajectory makes entry into the sector particularly compelling. It positions us to capture a share of this growth and develop new sustainable revenue streams. By strategically tapping into this market, we have the opportunity to create meaningful economic benefits not only for our organization, but also for the town as a whole. It's also important to note that this use remains consistent with the historical use of the property. For decades, the parcel has supported automotive-related businesses. What we're proposing does not change that category of use, it elevates it. Instead of industrial-style automotive activity, the site becomes a modern retail showroom. This project represents an opportunity to take a property that has been a part of Dumfries' commercial landscape for many years and move it into the next chapter of Dumfries' growth. The alternative is to maintain the existing conditions, but with the right investment and vision, this property can become a positive contributor to the town's brand and identity. In closing, we believe this proposal reflects the direction the town of Dumfries has already set for itself. It supports revitalization, improves the visual character of the corridor, and it strengthens the town's economic base. We're certainly excited about the opportunity to invest in this property and to be a part of Dumfries' continued growth. And we therefore respectfully ask for your support and confirmation of the staff's recommendation to adopt this proposal. Thank you very much for your time and your consideration, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Councilman Young.
So thank you, Mr. Mayor. Actually, it's for Mr. Tabor. You said that during the planning commissions, they had a 3-3 vote. Yes. Is there a reason for why it was a tie, or what was their major concerns from it? Because it looks good. I'm just trying to figure out why they had concerns.
Indoors or outdoors?
Thank you. Yes, there was a discussion about the allowing service of vehicles, and the applicant committed to making sure that service of any vehicles is in an enclosed space and not exterior to any structure.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Fields.
What type of vehicles would these be? Brand name?
There's a whole plethora of vehicles, but primarily Lucid, Tesla, Mercedes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, in the existing property now, is there any worry about contamination?
Not that I'm aware of. We've had a team at Bowman Consulting look at this parcel for us. We are not expanding the footprint of the parcel. We're effectively using it as it currently stands. So I don't think there would be.
Okay. And timeline, if approved, of getting the old people out and when you can start tearing down and rebuilding?
So we currently have control over this specific parcel. So there's no existing tenant at the moment. If approved, I believe we would get started right away, and potentially renovations could take maybe 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
What type of investment has to be made to I guess get this property up to code? Like, I saw the projected numbers, but how much do you guys have to spend to, I guess, get it ready and to break in the automobiles? Because it sounds like you got some expensive ones, and y'all got to buy those cars up front and then sell them.
That's correct, and I appreciate the question, Mayor Wood. While I don't have the specific figures, we're probably talking close to, I would say, close to $500,000 in renovations.
500,000.
Yeah, close to that figure. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Vice Mayor.
Thank you for investing in our town.
Thank you.
All right. Seeing no more questions, we will now open up a public hearing. I think we got some folks signed up for this public hearing. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
The first person signed up to speak is Jason K.
And it'd be great if you signed up, if you all just come line up along the wall. So when she calls the next one, it'll just be rapid fire. Didn't mean to wake y'all up, but it's your time. It's go time.
Good evening, Mayor Wood, Vice Mayor Nickerson, panel. My name is Jason Koutsalis. I'm a retired member of the Armed Forces and longtime resident of this community, and appreciate the opportunity to speak this evening in strong support of the proposed electric vehicle showroom in the town of Dumfries. For many years, I have driven past this site and neighboring properties, and I've often wondered when we would see a meaningful investment that elevates the visual character of our town. This proposal represents that opportunity. It brings forward small business owners with a thoughtful and forward-looking concept, one that has the potential to significantly enhance the aesthetic quality of this corridor and contribute to a more modern, polished identity in Dumfries. This luxury EV-focused showroom aligns aligns with a broader vision of revitalization. It would help transform a highly visible gateway into a space that reflects progress, innovation, and pride in our community. First impressions matter. And developments like this send a clear message that Dumfries is evolving into a destination that is both welcoming and forward-thinking. In addition, projects of this caliber often serve as a catalyst, encouraging further private investment and raising the standard for future development throughout this town. I also understand that the town is currently working with the branding consultant to refine and strengthen Dumfries' identity. In that context, I cannot think of a more fitting addition than this proposed business. Its upscale design and focus on emerging automotive technology are fully consistent with the kind of image many residents hope to see, one that is attractive, economically vibrant, and reflective of modern values. From an economic standpoint, this showroom will diversify the town's commercial base, generate new activity, and contribute to local revenue. Equally important, it would signal the other entrepreneurs and investors that Dumfries is open to high-quality, innovative businesses. On a personal note, I am an owner and enthusiast of an electrical vehicle. I am especially encouraged by the proposal emphasis on clean energy and sustainability. Supporting businesses that promote environmentally responsible technologies positions Dumfries as a community that is not only keeping pace with change, but actively embracing it. In closing, this proposal represents more than just a single business. It's an investment in the town's image, and it's an economic future and long-term vision. I respectfully urge the council to approve this project and take an important step toward continued revitalization and growth. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Next person is Mr. Bennett Hill.
Ms. Hill, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, excuse me, Town Council. My name is Tareem Hill. I am Dumfries adjacent in Potomac Shores, but I travel through Dumfries quite often to go to Quantico, which is my last duty station before I retired. Thank you for providing me the opportunity to speak this evening and to share my strong support of the proposed electric vehicle showroom. Like many who have reviewed this proposal, I believe this project represents a meaningful step toward enhancing the visual character of this town, particularly along the highly visible highway corridor. For years, the stretch has lacked the cohesive, attractive identity that reflects the potential of Dumfries. This proposal offers the chance to change that by introducing modern, upscale use that aligns with the kind of transformation many residents have long hoped to see. Dumfries is at a turning point with ongoing infrastructure improvements, including the recent widening project. We're seeing older, less desirable uses phased out. That change presents both a challenge and an opportunity. I believe this boutique high-end showroom is exactly the kind of thoughtful reinvestment that can redefine this corridor. Not just as a place people pass through, but as a destination people chose to visit from across Northern Virginia and the greater Washington, D.C. area. I also want to commend the applicant for bringing forward a small business concept that is both innovative and forward-looking. This proposal is not only about aesthetics, it's about economic progress, diversification, and setting a higher standard for future development. Quality projects like this can create momentum, encourage additional investment, and reinforcement of a sense of pride in our community. From a personal standpoint, my family and extended family are electric vehicle owners. We recognize that the growth shift toward clean energy transportation, this showroom reflects that future. It positions Dumfries as a community that embraces innovation and sustainability rather than one that lags behind it. Finally, the proposed redevelopment of the parcel represents a significant upgrade from its current condition, transforming an underutilized and visually unappealing property into a refined, well-designed space. We will have lasting positive impact on the surrounding area. This is an exciting step for Dumfries. It reflects progress, vision, and a commitment to becoming a more vibrant and appealing community. I would be proud to welcome this business into this town and respectfully ask for your support in approving this proposal. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Councilman P.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, with that, I would like to amend the town code to allow electric vehicles sale. Oh, do we need to do this public hearing first? Oh, we're in the middle of it now?
Yeah, we're in the middle. I was
Okay,
going
sounds
to ask the
good.
clerk if she had anything. Anybody else signed up?
No, but I did want clarification. Same person. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. That's
All right. Is there anybody else signed up? No? Okay. Seeing no more, I will now close the public hearing. Public hearing is now closed. Councilman Pete.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I would like to making a motion that we amend the town code to allow electric vehicle sales in a B1 general business district, which with the approval of the conditional use permit
Second.
by ordinance.
Yeah, you pick your second. All right. It's been motion and second. Is there any further discussion on the motion on the floor? All right, seeing none, Madam Clerk, call for the question.
Councilmember Fields,
Yes.
Councilmember Pete,
Yes.
Councilmember Young,
Yes.
Councilmember Peterson,
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem Miles, Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Yes.
Mayor Wood.
Yes.
That motion passed.
Okay, welcome to Dumfries. Letter E, a public hearing on consideration of application to amend the town code to allow churches in the B2 neighborhood business district with an approved conditional use permit. Mr. Tabor, the floor is yours.
Honorable Mayor, Vice Mayor, Chair Pro Tem, and members of council. The town of Dumfries received a petition to amend the town code Division 7 Business Neighborhood District B2 to add church use as an allowed use in the B2 district with conditions and a CUP or conditional use permit. The B2 district is illustrated in the map on the right. In the orange area, and that is primarily along Main Street. During a regular meeting held in 2018 and following a recommendation by the Planning Commission and a public hearing, the Town Council adopted an ordinance O 2018-002, amending the code of the town of Dumfries, Chapter 70, relating generally to neighborhood business district B2 use regulations. With the adoption of the ordinance in 2018, the town council found the zoning text amendments to be consistent with the town's comprehensive plan, good zoning practices, public necessity, and in the best interest and general welfare of the town of Dumfries. Among many other changes, the zoning text amendment removed number 5, churches and places of worship, subject to securing a conditional use permit with conditions as an allowable use with conditions. Churches and places of worship are permitted in the residential limited district R1 and residential general district R2. Town Code Section 70-4, Chapter and Zoning Map adopted as zoning regulations of the town include purposes for the purpose of promoting the health, safety, and general welfare of the public. The chapter is adopted as the zoning regulations of the town, together with the zoning map. This chapter has been designed to encourage economic development activities that provide desirable employment and enlarge the tax base. Churches and places of worship are generally tax-exempt organizations and therefore do not directly serve to enlarge the town's tax base. As stated in the ordinance O 2018-002 adopted by the Town Council in 2018, the Town Council directed staff to review the town's comprehensive plan regarding uses in the business and commercial districts and to propose text amendments. The purpose was to maintain, implement, and ensure the town's code's adherence to the adopted comprehensive plan, and to enhance and/or expand current business and commercial uses and curtail the diminishment of the town's tax base within the business and commercial districts created by the presence of a high number of tax exempt entities in the business and commercial districts. Staff conducted a search for churches in the town of Dumfries and identified 20 churches and places of worship in the town. Only 2 are located in residential districts in accordance with the town code. The others are located in business districts. Some of the places of worship predate the 2018 code amendment and obtained a conditional use permit, and staff is in the process of conducting a study to determine whether any of the established churches and places of worship after 2018 were not in compliance with the town code, and will ensure that they become compliant. This is the list of the churches and places of worship within the town. And this is the map that shows the locations, again, along Fraley Boulevard and Main Street primarily, which are zoned B1 and B2 respectively. The petition received includes the following: to include in section 70-282B of the town code churches as an allowable use with conditions. The proposed code text amendment would add churches and houses of worship as an allowable use. The Town of Dumfries Planning Commission held a public hearing on March 9th, 2026 to consider the application to amend the town code and zoning text as proposed to make a recommendation relative to it. After the hearing and consideration, the Planning Commission voted to recommend denial of the proposed code amendment. Staff also recommends denial of the petition and the proposed ordinance amending the town code to allow churches in business districts, in this case B2. And reason being to conform with the town code chapter 70 zoning regarding the zoning map adopted as zoning regulations of the town with the purpose of encouraging economic development activities to provide desirable employment and enlarge the tax base. Also to conform with the 2018 code amendment purpose to enhance and or expand current business and commercial uses and curtail the diminishment of the town's tax base within the business and commercial districts created by the presence of a high percentage of tax exempt entities in the business and commercial districts. With that, I conclude my presentation, and I'm happy to respond to any questions.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Tabor. Can you clarify how the current zoning aligns with our comprehensive plan?
Yes, so the town updated our comprehensive plan in 2025 last year, and those amendments were adopted by council. And primarily along our commercial corridors, we proposed mixed use. And primarily those mixed uses would include commercial and maybe some residential, but a mixture of uses.
Right, thank you. And what would be the implications of revisiting the policy? Like if we were to do this, what would be the implications of doing this?
If the text amendment was approved and churches were added to the as allowable uses in the B2 district. Then the churches that are currently located in the district that do not have a conditional use permit would be able to obtain a conditional use permit and locate within the district. It would also eliminate those parcels of property for potential commercial uses that would potentially create jobs and provide additional revenue to the town, additional economic activity as well, and add to the town's tax base as previously mentioned in the presentation as a goal for the town.
Right. Which is in contradiction to our comprehensive plan.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Tabor, if we were not to take your recommendation in denying this and we would approve this, what precedent would be setting for that district?
It would potentially change the character of our corridors, specifically Main Street. Earlier this evening, there was a mention about the vision for Main Street as a thriving commercial district, mixed-use district with residential and commercial uses, and potentially the uses by tax-exempt organizations would eliminate the opportunity for businesses to locate on those properties.
Okay. All right. Any further questions? Seeing none, we will open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, is there anyone signed up to speak at this public hearing?
No, there is not.
Okay. Mr. Tabor, is the applicant here? Yes. Okay. Yes, let's give the applicant a chance. I'm gonna close the public hearing, but I'm gonna give the applicant a chance to speak. Okay. Public hearing is now closed. Mr. Applicant, your closing statement.
This past month and a half has been very educational, I don't know anything about Dumfries. What I take from here, whatever happens, is not driving through here, but looking into what's here, staying. And that's what we bring. The church, I understand your concerns, your vision, what you want to project. I believe that a church is not detrimental, it's not gonna detain what the vision that y'all have, because your vision is our vision. We're celebrating 100 years. April 6th, we celebrated 100 years. Our church is from Washington, Oregon, California, Texas. It's in the 50 states. It's in Puerto Rico, Mexico, Africa, the Philippines, it's Central America, Costa Rica, Honduras, El Salvador. Our church is well established. The taxes that are being assessed to these two properties is $300. $300 for one property, the other one is $300. As a church, we're going to bring much more than that. We're going to bring people to live in those townhomes, to buy, to participate. It was beautiful, and what y'all did in voting the Tesla, that's what we bring, revitalize what the gentleman said in favor, that's what we bring. And that's what we want to do here, revitalize. We don't want to impede. We don't want to stop what you're doing. We want to be a part of it. We're going to grow. and it brought me here. You know, I'm in Richmond. We got a church in Manassas that we just bought also there. You know, we're in Fredericksburg. So we're close. And it brought me here with that property. And I know we're gonna, if y'all permit, and it's conditional. It's a conditional, you know, a precedent, you know, in there, I don't know, y'all are, the council, y'all can put a wording there where, like in San Antonio, Texas, you know, when that conditional use is if it's a church or if it's a business and it's not, it reverts back to its original state. And that's what I understand here. It's a conditional. If something happens, it's going to revert back to what it was. But I know if you give us this opportunity, you know, we're going to be inclusive. We're going to be helping in what you're trying to do. And we've been doing it all over the 50 states. You know, we give gift baskets to the firefighters, to the police force, because we want to show them our appreciation. You know, the nurses, the doctors, we also go and visit. We go sing hymns. We go sing to the nursery homes. We clean up. You know, we have our name, the Light of the World, in many states already, where we do the highway cleanups. You know, we get our teenagers involved. They get their friends from schools involved. So that's what we want to bring. You know, I know the concerns and, you know, it's like an uphill battle for me. But what I take from here, whatever does happen, I got to meet good people, especially because I talk to Lucas the most. You got a good clerk. She is very attentive, always smiling, always respectful. It doesn't matter what the situation is. She always has that smile. And, you know, but if I wasn't brought to here, couldn't meet her. Mayor Woods, the same way, very respectable, very informative. And then Mr. Pete, you know, when I came here, my condolences to the one that passed away, you know, a leader in the community, you know, all that, you know, has brought me closer to y'all. You know, I spoke to you individually, and y'all got to know a piece of me because the Spirit talks to the Spirit. But we have a lot to offer. And if y'all have a way that y'all can keep us here to be able to invest money, time, friendship, doctrine, you know, it's open to the public. It's open every day. Every day we have church. We have church at 5 in the morning, we have church at 10 in the morning, and we have church in the evening. The reason being is there's always that door is always open. At 10 in the morning is for the females, you know, so they can have somewhere to go to pray for their children at school, pray for their husbands at work. So our church is involved. Our church is open 24. That's why we want the other area, the house. The pastor's going to be there 24/7 for whatever needs to be done. You know, I had some other stuff to say, but I know the time. I mean, we're the last ones. Maybe the last shall be first. But I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. Whatever happens, you know, happens. You know, God is the one that directs all of us. And whatever He has in store for us, we'll be there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. All right. Any further comments, directions, everything? All right. We'll make a motion that we approve the resolution as submitted.
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and second. All right, discussion. I just want to say, our decision up here has nothing to do with the pastor, the church, religion, your faith, none of that. For us, this is a land use decision in a particular zone. You know, I was coming on the council 2013 when we had the tough decisions. I didn't, quite understand it, myself during that time. I was like, why are we eliminating this land use for this particular brand of churches or nonprofits, right? I didn't understand that when you have a comprehensive plan and a vision, there's certain things you have to use the land for. And our land is limited to about 1.6 square miles. So our land is limited, and we are in the process of developing a thriving downtown. And so, I think we all, as you said, have our faith and our beliefs. And so this has nothing to do with the church or any type of nonprofits, but we have to make land use decisions up there. And there's a motion on the floor and there's discussion going on. But, I'm just telling you, for that reason, I can't support this particular land use in there. Chair Pro Tem.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And in that vein, I will say that I want to echo the mayor's sentiments. It's not personal. I love churches. I grew up in the church. I know that sounds odd, but I was born into this faith. But we have to be very intentional about how we build and how we grow Dumfries. And leading into this plan, we have a strategic plan that we spent countless hours working on. And we got input from our residents. We got input from our local business owners. We got input from our local pastors as well. And that vision and that strategic plan is to guide our growth. And from that, we have our comprehensive plan and our small area plans and things of that nature. So as hard as it is to go with it right now, because I always want to bring more people to Dumfries. I always want to bring more people of faith to Dumfries. But we have to be very intentional about how we grow to ensure we get to where we went into, where we have put our work into going. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to support the application either, but I would encourage you to keep going and keep spreading the word. I'm fortunate that we had a chance to meet you and we got a chance to speak and fellowship, and our paths will definitely cross again.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. It's been motioned. It's been second. Seeing no further discussion, as the discussion has been exhausted, the public hearing has been closed. Madam Clerk, please call for the question.
Councilmember Fields,
No.
Councilmember Pete,
No.
Councilmember Young,
No.
Councilmember Peterson,
No.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Nay.
Vice Mayor Nickerson,
No.
Mayor Wood.
No.
That motion does not pass.
All right, we have exhausted the agenda. There is no closed session. So at this time, at 10:33, we will adjourn this meeting.